basement or a high-rise on Wacker Drive can be stressful, and cost is as important as the ability to place the concrete quickly. You need a trusted company like Anderson Concrete Pumping. Using their state-of-the-art pumps and conveyors, Anderson Concrete Pumping can help you with the smallest footprint. They work fast and can pour with a day's notice. Not only will you save time, but also money. Anderson is the woman-owned concrete pumping company in the Midwest and a trusted conforms dealer. You know they do great work because you've seen it at Soldier Field, Wrigley Field, and McCormick Place. Anderson Concrete Pumping is the best choice for a job of any size. That's Anderson with an E. Visit AndersonPump.com to see a variety of working drawings and to schedule an on-site recommendation, or call 708-333-4433 for a free recommendation. That's 708-333-4433. Anderson with an E. Experience excellence.
Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma. Here's to progress.
At 5:08 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
In Elgin this morning on Randall Road at Jane Addams Tollway, I-90 on the northbound side of Randall. The right turn lane to the Addams Tollway is blocked by a water main break. Kennedy outbound traffic's a little heavy. Harlem to Canfield after some earlier construction. That's wrapping up. At this point, you're looking at no more than a 1-minute delay. The inbound side of Kennedy is fine. The reversibles are open inbound. Inbound Eisenhower, traffic sluggish. Des Plaines Avenue past Harlem thanks to an earlier collision. 30 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. There's some road work on the inbound Bishop Ford, King Drive to the merge. That's wrapping up. Traffic still moving okay. Tollways are good. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Today and tonight, cloudy with a brief shower or two. The high today 59, low tonight 39. Clouds and cool tomorrow. Some occasional rain for the afternoon. High tomorrow near 46. Morning rain or snow shower on Saturday. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 5:30. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Great coffee, period.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Kim Foxx could not recuse herself from the political maelstrom that she unleashed. So she speaketh yesterday to Leah Holt at ABC 7, and she had this to say about how her office treated Jussie Smollett and disposed of his case.
I think when we look at the totality of our justice system based on what he was charged with, so all of those factors are placed, he was charged with a Class 4 felony. And he doesn't have a background. When I look at similarly situated people who are charged with the same level of felony without a background, I believe in this case justice was appropriate. Again, I didn't make the decision, but he was availed to alternative prosecution model that anybody else without his riches, without his fame, were also availed to. 5,700 people have participated in alternative prosecution cases. 5,700 people who, whether they did community service, some who've done restitution, had the same outcome. And so while it's frustrating, the nature of his offense, we treated Mr. Smollett in the same way we would treat similarly situated folks.
Did she gargle glass, or was she partying over the weekend?
She's got a little thing of a Kim Carnes thing going on. Little husky voice, little gravelly. I like it. Little Kathleen Turner.
Oh, wait, has she always been like that, though? Is it always? Not that we hear from her a lot, but...
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe she's got a little bit of cold.
All right, fine. Maybe she needs some balance of nature.
She courageously got through it, yes. She courageously got through that interview and offered a restatement of the talking point we heard from her first assistant the day before, which is nice that they're staying on message. At least they're communicating with one another, even if they're not communicating with Chicago police. But
treated him as others similarly situated. That's what she said. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Now, do you have a full appreciation for the context in which the decision was made? And do you agree with Kim Foxx that, hey, we can disagree, but it was a legitimate disposition of the case, and there's really not that much to see here.
I mean, they're acting like this is no big deal when this is a huge deal, because it sends a message to everyone that if you have celebrity, if you have money, if you have power and political connections too, because he was politically connected, that you can get off scot-free.
Well,
nothing to see. And this morning we're learning that Jussie Smollett might file a defamation lawsuit against the city of Chicago. No, Dan, they are making him look bad. Okay?
They're making who look bad?
I mean, the city is making him look bad. They're affecting his career.
No. So I mean, so you all understand. I know that came out yesterday, but that's just PR posturing. There's no lawsuit forthcoming. There's no defamation. You can't defame somebody who concedes the underlying point of having committed a crime. And that's what the alternative disposition of his case indicates. So, no. I mean, that's the problem is, and this is, I love Leah Hope, but I need to feed her questions. So why not, as part of this alternative disposition, I ask again, demand an admission of guilt so that everybody is clear that he committed the hoax that he clearly committed.
Well, his big boobed attorney, are you familiar with her? Gladden, is it her name?
I'm sorry. Hers what attorney?
He had a very large-breasted attorney who was letting it all hang out at two of his hearings. She covered it up yesterday when she was on Good Morning America, but I am not kidding you. I don't know if you heard it. You guys have got to hear this interview. She claims that he was still attacked by the Nigerian brothers.
Yeah.
But he said at the beginning he didn't know who he encountered that night. He knew it was the brothers, didn't he?
He did not. The attackers were masked. He only saw one of them. One of them approached him from behind, and he was wearing a mask. And so he did not identify them. He initially had a really hard time believing that they could be involved because he knew one of them, and we can only speculate as to motivation.
As you know, the police say they have phone records of him talking to the brothers an hour before the attack,
absolutely,
an hour after the attack, and while they're in Africa.
Not an hour after the attack. That's
what they said.
That's completely false. And I've seen the phone records, and they've been produced. And one thing I do also want to put out there.
So you're saying he did talk to the brothers?
He absolutely talked to them because he had just hired the one brother to train him for his upcoming music video for training and nutrition, which the brothers have now confirmed that that's actually what the check was for. And this is, again, one of the misstatements out there that Eddie Johnson went and held this press conference and said that the check was for the staged attack.
Yeah, their lawyer did tell me that. But you're saying he talked to them an hour before the attack,
absolutely,
but he didn't know that was them that attacked them?
Absolutely, and the reason he talked to them was there were, if you look at the text messages leading up to the night of the incident, there's ample text about training and nutrition, and they were supposed to actually train that night. Jussie was flying in from New York, and his flight was delayed for 4 hours, so he was constantly texting and communicating about their planned training session. They were supposed to train that night as well as the next morning, and he eventually texted him when he landed and said now it was way too late, and he texted him and let him know that he landed late. They actually spoke by phone as well, and so he absolutely knew that he was on his way home. And
if the brothers are saying that he helped them stage this attack, you're saying the brothers are lying?
Absolutely.
They're not telling the truth?
No.
Yeah, I know it wasn't one of the brothers because when they were attacking him, the one brother said, hey, this isn't the guy who you hired to train you. And so that's how we knew it's not. What do you? This is why are we revisiting the Jussie Smollett fairy tale? Of course, his attorney is going to restate and perhaps embellish upon his fairy tale.
The brothers are lying. His friends attacked him.
Yes, I understand. They're sticking to the story. Everybody's seen that, and so the question is, if that's what happened, why forfeit your bond? Why do 16 hours of community service? Go ahead and file that defamation suit against with the Chicago Police Department, the city of Chicago, all of the deep-pocketed parties that you can cobble together, Councilor Glandian. Go ahead. This is PR posturing. And by the way, it deflects away from where all roads should lead. Kim Foxx, the Cook County State's attorney, that office that has put the rule of politics over the rule of law. That's where all roads should lead. And since Kim Foxx, repeating the talking point that her first assistant dutifully stated the day before about this is the handling of Jussie Smollett is the same as we've handled other persons similarly situated. Our friends over at CWB Chicago have got a couple similar cases. Every case is a little bit different, but underlying the similarities that underlie the charges. Minnesota couple falsely claimed to have been robbed of $20,000 of cash and property after their GPS led them to Lower Wacker Drive last December.
Oh, I remember that story.
Remember?
It was all made up.
Right. Pled guilty to filing a false report of offense.
Oh, yeah, what happened to them?
Wait, they pled guilty. Oh, so they actually
had to
went to
enter
court.
A plea, right?
Yeah. We were told that they told police 3 men confronted them with a knife and blah blah blah. All this was stolen.
Were they wearing MAGA hats?
No, and there's no claim of the involvement of a drawstring in fashion like a noose either.
All right. Bleach, no. All right.
No Subway sandwiches present. So as I said, not all the facts are the same.
Oh, I'd love a 2 a.m. tuna sandwich from Subway.
They're sentenced to 2 years, second chance probation, fined $600. One was. The other was sentenced to 130 hours of community service. So
that's a lot different than 16 hours.
And it's also it's not saying Jussie Smollett was ever going to go to jail for decades, okay? And nobody believed that either. But that's a filing a false police report. They go to court. They plead guilty. Their guilt is established. They get sentenced to a significant number of hours of community service. And probably $600 with respect to their net worth is similar to $10,000, if not under, or if not more, than $10,000 is to Jussie Smollett's net worth.
So that's a great example of how there's different rules for different people.
Yeah. So that's not exactly the same. And
I remember that story, and I thought, no, I don't think that happened.
And this is a recent case, and this is a case that was handled by Kim Foxx's office. So no, it's not the same.
Why can't Kwame Raoul, our Illinois Attorney General, investigate Kim Foxx? Are they friends?
Oh, it's good to get a laugh like that at 5:20. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that's the only hope. The only FBI could be looking at.
Well, that's the hope.
Right.
The FBI and our fearless postal inspectors.
Have you ever met a postal inspector?
I still haven't. Not since yesterday.
When you meet one, you will be very impressed. They're extremely professional and good at their jobs, and they don't mess around.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying the idea that justice in Cook County rises or falls with the U.S. Postal Inspection Service is a bit troubling to me. I don't know. Maybe not to other people. Scott in Aurora, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, before I make my point, I just wanted to bring up. I've called in a few times. I've never been able to tell you guys that you crack me up every morning. But I just wanted to throw that in.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah.
He'll be
Amy's the funny one. Yeah, in case you're scoring at home.
You guys both make me laugh. But when I think they came out with this other narrative when they designed this narrative for the evidence that was already out there, and they know that if the rest of this evidence would have been revealed, they probably wouldn't be able to make the narrative they're making now. So, you know what I'm saying?
I do, and I think that's right. Thanks for the call, Scott. They've got the convenience of having the case now dispatched, and so they can tell their fantastical story, retell it, and even add some, fun new factoids, exciting tangents that were not included in the original story. By the way, just so we understand, Kim Foxx did stand by her office's decision, but also the statement made by her first assistant that the case was a strong one. Smollett was guilty, and they could have proven it.
Jussie Smollett had not been found guilty by a court of law. We believe that the facts were sufficient to charge and try Mr. Smollett for the crimes.
Do you consider him guilty?
He chose this alternative prosecution method. The court has not found him guilty. I believe based on the facts and the evidence that was presented in the charging decision made by this office believed that they could prove him guilty.
Do you think that he's culpable of falsifying a police report?
I think this office, based on those charging decisions, believes that he is culpable of doing that.
I mean,
the office does. Hey, maybe the office should be the Cook County State's attorney rather than the Fox. And she get a lozenge, too, as you said. Tony on the south side.
Hey, good morning.
Hi,
Tony. Good morning, Dan and Amy, my Lammy Lammy.
Oh, hi.
Hey, listen, for all those out there, hand ring into the crying the fact this guy was cut loose, especially Amy, your menopause mafia that you hang out with, those liberals up north. They're probably, this is a travesty. Well, guess what? Kim Fox, in a statement, said that another reason why he was released is because she ran on a reform platform, okay? So you people voted this lady in, so deal with the consequences. That's all I have to say. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks for the call, Tony. By the way, the National District Attorneys Association has weighed in on the decision.
Yeah.
There's 2 points they made. First, when a chief prosecutor recuses himself or herself, the recusal must apply to the entire office,
right?
Not just the elected or appointed prosecutor. This is consistent with the best practices for prosecutors' offices around the country.
Like the special counsel was from Kane County in the Laquan McDonald or Jason Van Dyke case.
Right.
They took it out of the office.
Second, the National District Association's District Attorneys Association offers prosecutors should not take advice from politically connected friends of the accused. Oh, really? Boy, that is, I'll tell you, I got a law degree, but I don't remember that. I mean, so you can understand Kim Fox's confusion.
Yes.
Each case should be approached with the goal of justice for the victims while protecting the rights of the defendant. Wow, what's that you say? Huh. Third, when a prosecutor seeks to resolve a case through diversion or some other alternative to prosecution, it should be done so with an acknowledgement of culpability on the part of the
no, you don't say.
What, an elocution? Admission of... Huh. Well, I mean, look, me, Kim Fox, Cook County, we're going to have to plead ignorance on this one, National District Attorneys Association. But I do appreciate the advice and counsel.
Thanks for stopping by.
Tom in Deer Park.
Yeah, Dan, you're old enough to remember when the state's attorney would probably have guidelines like that, and then in their Twitter account possibly touch on things they want to do as prosecutors. But Kim Fox's timeline on Twitter is a little different. Back in March of last year, she was running for something called the Emily's List Gabrielle Gafford's Rising Star Award. Mm-hmm. And she was getting retweets and lobbies from Dick Durbin, Planned Parenthood, Emily's List, and some other intersectionality group. I don't have it in front of me. But she did win that award, and her entire Twitter timeline is nothing but that. And so it's the intersectionality play and nothing about what a prosecutor might want to do in their office, but nothing but self-promotion. It's pretty sad.
Thanks for the call, Tom. That's not all it is, to be fair to Kim Fox. She's also elevating the stature of Cook County and, by extension, Illinois, by tweeting out pictures of her with, like, Kamala Harris and her excitement about Kamala Harris running for president. She wouldn't be anywhere, Kim Fox said, without Kamala Harris.
Oh, sure.
So, I mean, think about that great connection that we have to that California senator, perhaps Democrat nominee, perhaps President of the United States. So, I mean, Kim Fox is helping put Cook County on the map, too, with her Twitter account. Mm-hmm. So, and you really can't put a price on that.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare contracts, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare contract, you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit, 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Amy, you and others have been remarking over the last couple of days that I'm seem more radiant.
Your skin does look better. Did you Botox?
No.
On the forehead?
Nothing artificial. It's
Okay.
a new skincare system.
It's a process
System I'm on. It's from our friends at Tiege Hanley, and they've got some good advice for guys. This is specifically skincare for guys. Good advice for guys. Don't wash your face with the same products you use to wash other parts of your body. Okay? It seems pretty straightforward.
Do you mean the buttocks?
But, sometimes guys err on the side of savagery, and they don't think about these things. Also, the Tiege Hanley system, daily moisturizer with SPF, because they're very cognizant of melanoma protection, and as much golf as I play, it's actually a pretty good thing.
You don't wear sunscreen? You haven't been wearing
Sometimes I put it in the top of my ears. I usually wear a hat, but that's about it. Because I want a golden tan.
Oh, guys, you need some Tiege.
I mean, I want the rest of my, extremities to be the Roman godlike presentation that my face offers. You know what I mean?
Show ends at 9.
There's the company I'm talking about is Tiege Hanley.
Thank you.
And I'm talking about myself, too, for both fun topics. They're doing something about how men think about and treat their skin. Started by 4 guys who know how guys think. Tiege Hanley is simple, affordable, effective. You don't have to go shopping either, which is huge. Shipped directly to your door through their subscription service. No hidden fees or inflated costs. Their scores online off the charts, 4.6 out of 5, based on more than 2,200 reviews. They have 3 skincare systems. Each include their wash, scrub, and moisturizers, as I said, with SPF 20. So fight the signs of aging, improve your skin, prevent melanoma. Go to Tiege.com/DanProft. Use the promo code Dan20, Dan the number 20. Check out for 20% off your first box if you use that promo code TIEGE, Tiege.com/DanProft. Use the promo code Dan20.
In retirement, your bills each month will be bigger than your Social Security. For most couples, their Social Security will not nearly be enough to pay their bills and to live comfortably. Hi, this is Bill Geiger, founder of Geiger Wealth, Chicago's retirement planning experts. Do you have the additional income you'll need to spend 20 to 30 years in retirement without a paycheck? We work with couples in their late 50s to early 60s to do just that. Create the additional income they can count on to live the way they want to in retirement. If you have a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, call us now for your personalized complimentary retirement income plan. 800-681-2498. That's 800-681-2498 or at GeigerWealth.com. We look forward to seeing you. Retire with confidence.
Geiger Wealth Management is a registered investment advisor. Insurance offered through DeBlanco, Inc.
AM 560, The Answer.
She got Betty Davis. I got Kim Fox's voice.
Voice of a husky could pull a dog sled.
You know what? I don't like Kim Fox's voice, I have to tell you.
I do.
Very disturbing.
I like that. I think it's sultry, and I'm willing to give her a pass just because of the voice.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, wait a second. My criticism of the Cook County State's Attorney's Office isn't over. We got wind of an email that their chief of the prosecutions bureau sent out to senior leadership in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, turning the agency into a PR agency rather than a prosecutorial agency. We'll pick that up at 5:38.
And where are the brothers, Abel and Ola? Why haven't we heard from them? Oh, we'll tell you why coming up. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Perry Williams in for Mike Scott. Hello, Perry.
Good morning, Amy. Mostly cloudy skies, and it's 49 degrees in Chicago at 5:30 on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Perry Williams. More information is being revealed about the investigation into the alleged attack on actor Jussie Smollett. Chicago police released redacted reports of their probe yesterday, a day after Cook County prosecutors dropped all charges accusing Smollett of staging a racist and homophobic attack in Chicago in January. The records show police obtained a warrant for Smollett's iCloud account and shared access to the data with the FBI. The reports also detail how police worked to protect the 2 brothers accused of helping carry out the phony attack by avoiding the media. In other news, Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx is standing by the decision to drop all charges accusing actor Jussie Smollett of staging an attack on himself in January. Foxx said her office often handles cases in a similar fashion for defendants with nonviolent backgrounds.
If he's found guilty on a Class 4, the likelihood was he was going to get some type of perhaps restitution, community service, not prison.
However, she told the Sun-Times prosecutors had enough evidence to convict the actor. Foxx recused herself from the Smollett case just over a week before the actor was charged because of conversations she'd had with a relative of his. Health officials are warning people about a confirmed case of the measles in Cook County. The County Department of Public Health released a list of 16 locations in the northern suburbs and downtown Chicago that the infected person visited before the illness was discovered. They include a high school in Deerfield, a fitness center in Glencoe, a restaurant and theater in Chicago, and grocery stores in Northbrook and Niles. In sports news, the Bulls are shutting down Lauri Markkanen for the rest of the season. The second-year big man experienced a rapid heart rate and fatigue during a loss to the Raptors on Tuesday. He spent the night in Toronto after undergoing medical tests. In college hoops action, DePaul defeated Coastal Carolina 92-87 in the semifinal of the College Basketball Invitational. The Blue Demons will play the winner of tonight's semifinal between Loyola Marymount and South Florida for the CBI title. AM 560 news time is 5:34. How bad is traffic? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Larry Elder just wants the media to be honest.
His fellow Republicans to think seriously about the president's mental condition and psychological state.
This is news. Some are saying the president's mental stability is in question. Some who? You wonder why people think it's fake news? Because it is. Some people are questioning the president's mental stability. Who? Name names.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Amy Jacobson, and I'm so excited to tell you about a deal on the already modestly priced MyPillow Giza Dream Bed Sheets. They use the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in the region between the Sahara Desert, Mediterranean, and Nile River. It's ultra soft, breathable, and extremely durable. I know, because I have a few sets. It includes full 21-inch wide pillowcases that fit any pillow and deep pocket sheets that fit any mattress. And once you sleep on them, you won't want to sleep on anything else. They are the real deal that look good and feel great, which means a better night's sleep. And you can still get the MyPillow 4-pack offer plus 30% off pet beds and mattress toppers. To get the Giza Dream Bed Sheets with 30% off and free shipping, go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code AMY. Or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Or MyPillow.com, promo code AMY.
Hey guys, Ken here from the award-winning podcast Today's Growth. If you had to choose sides, which camp would you rather be in? Would you rather have time and no money, or money and no time? Did you know that 95% of U.S. adults by choice have settled into these categories? Much more interesting is that 1 out of 20 people have built their life around achieving simultaneous control of both time and money. What choices did these 5% make that the others didn't? My friends at Income Store have shown both households and businesses how to build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams for the express purpose of gaining control of time. When it comes to helping folks create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
At 5:37 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
In Elgin this morning, there's a water main break on Randall Road right at the Adams Tollway on a northbound Randall right turn lane. I-90 is blocked due to this water main break. The Edens Expressway is fine at this hour. The Kennedy looks good too. No delays to report yet on the Eisenhower. Things are getting a little congested inbound around Des Plaines Avenue. Inbound Stevenson, you've got a 2-minute delay, Cicero to Pulaski. Inbound Ryan, a 2-minute delay from 18th into the Burns Circle. Division Ford, 2-minute delay, Cottage Grove to the merge. I-57 looks good. The Tri-State northbound Deerfield Road, half day, 22. There's moving pavement striping in the right lane, scheduled till 6. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Clouds today and tonight, a brief shower or two. The high today 59, low tonight 39. Occasional rain tomorrow, high 46. A morning rain or snow shower on Saturday, otherwise cloudy, and a high 42. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 6 o'clock. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now more Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Sunday mornings starting at 8.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560.
Just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so this email that I happened upon from a reliable source was picked up by Fox News National, too.
Good.
This internal email from Risa Lanier, who is the chief of the Criminal Prosecutions Bureau at Cook County State's Attorney's Office. She writes to the senior leadership of the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, in part, "Hello, everyone. We're looking for examples of cases, felony preferable, where we, in exercising our discretion, have entered into verbal agreements with defendant's attorneys to dismiss charges against an offender if certain conditions were met, such as the payment of restitution, completion of community service, completion of class, etc., but the defendant was not placed in a formal diversion program. Please ask your ASAs if they have examples of these types of dispositions, and we will work with them further to figure out on what case it was done. Nobody is in trouble. We're just looking for further examples of how we as prosecutors use our discretion in a way that restores the victim, but causes minimal harm to the defendant in the long term." Like, minimal harm, so there's no long-term negative impact on Empire's ratings.
Exactly.
So things like that.
That's very important.
What about that? What about the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, after the fact, no less, being turned into a PR agency for Kim Fox and the office itself? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. That's one troubling aspect of it. The second troubling aspect for me, we're looking for examples to compare to the decision we made in the Smollett case after the fact.
So this was written yesterday, that email?
Yeah. Distributed.
So it sounds like the suspects have more rights than the victims.
Here. Well, I mean, she mentions both, but
but
I mean, before the first assistant made his decision in quotation marks, to enter into this arrangement with Smollett's defense team, they clearly did not go and say, well, how have we handled cases similar to this? So that when the inevitable questions are asked, did he get special treatment? We have cases that we point to and say, well, these decisions made by this office to adjudicate other cases informed the decision we made in this case. They had nothing.
The part that sticks out for me, though,
damage
is
control.
Nobody's in trouble.
Right, of course.
I mean, really? You guys didn't do anything wrong here. No one's in trouble, but we need some help of examples of prior cases. And the one that
Mom is not mad at you.
It's going to be okay. Just come clean. Come forward. The case that you mentioned about the Minnesota couple who said that they were ripped off of $20,000 on Lower Wacker.
Mm-hmm.
They pled guilty and they had to do 103 hours of community service as opposed to Jussie's 16 hours. And Jussie got off because he didn't plead guilty. Although you don't forfeit your bond if you're innocent.
Some other characters in this saga that need to be addressed. At the top of the list, Tina Chen, former chief of staff to First Lady Michelle Obama. I know members of the Smollett family based on prior work together. Oh, yes, we know.
Yeah, we know.
Campaign work together. Democrat activist work together. Shortly after Smollett reported he was attacked, as a family friend, I contacted the Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox, who I also know from prior work together. My sole activity was to put the chief prosecutor in the case in touch with an alleged victim's family who had concerns about how the investigation was being characterized in the public. She was not trying to sway the outcome of the Smollett case in any way. No, of course not. No. Tina Chen is a lawyer. So the question to be asked of Tina Chen is the point that was made by the National District Attorneys Association. Ms. Chen, if you were chief of staff to Kim Fox, if you were the Cook County State's Attorney's office, Cook County State's Attorney, would you have a conversation about a pending case with a politically connected friend, and in order to take requests from the family of a victim/suspect? Does that strike you as something that is a good judgment call by a prosecutor? Or does that strike you as something so obviously wrong, so ridiculous, that a first-year law student would know not to do it? Greg in Jefferson Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. You know what, Dan? Never underestimate the audacity of a Democratic lawyer or the stupidity of Democratic voters. But you know what? I think not unlike her former boss, Pufferfish Face is done politically as far as her advanced career goes. You know, in addition to that, I'm wondering about how, Jussie Smollett, my understanding is he's going to go on a tour, pushing this live further, is why Ann Kavanaugh is, her PR campaign for this guy is to, continue telling the lie, expecting that to go on. Hopefully the FBI gets into this, man.
Thanks for the call, Greg. And the FBI reportedly is looking at not just Smollett.
Well, they're reviewing circumstances of the charges being dropped against Smollett. So there's some hope out there. But, yeah, I mean, the whole Ann Kavanaugh thing, she's representing her client. She's getting paid.
She's a PR flack, right? She flacked for Jason Van Dyke. She flacked for Bruce Rauner. She, flacks for whoever pays her. I mean, it's a PR agency. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not, her days as a reporter are done. So, it's like being a criminal defense attorney, right? That's part of the system, as it were. Ed in Oak Brook.
You know what? There's so much that stinks here, but you know what? They should charge the brothers now after listening to that earlier statement by the lawyer. And it was convenient that they did it before the election, so it wouldn't be on the two unworthy candidates that are running. And my third point is, if you're listening in Chicago, don't vote for either of those mayoral candidates. Neither one deserves your vote. Do not give them a mandate for their destruction that they're going to do. So write in Eddie Johnson, who is the only decent person in that whole Chicago hierarchy. So that's all I got to say. Have a nice day.
All right, thanks for
the
call,
let's
Ed.
talk about the brothers. They apparently they are no longer with their attorney, Gloria Schmidt, since they don't have to testify in court. But also, they sat down with them and said, this is the time to tell your story, guys. Today's the day. You have to do it. And they were radio silent after working with them for months and being very cooperative. So I'm thinking that Jussie Smollett got to them because right after charges were dropped, he was able to contact them again. He couldn't contact them before, but as soon as those charges were dropped, he could go back to his buddies.
Yes, he contacted.
And I think he's very friendly with the older one, if you know what I mean.
The obvious, Jussie Smollett's probably back in contact with them because he has to reschedule those training sessions.
Oh, right. Oh,
I mean,
that's right.
What else could it be?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he was paying them off to keep them off TV,
for
keep
training
them off
sessions.
cable shows.
He only pays for training sessions.
Oh, that's right, because he's got to get ready for his upcoming music. He probably missed his friends.
Jussie Smollett, he's also, I think he's going to be cast opposite Michael Jordan in Creed 3.
Oh.
Since he spoiler alert, since he dispatched Drago's kid in Creed 2, who's left to fight but Jussie Smollett? That's going to be a great sequel.
Yeah, but that's strange. In a rare move, the attorney dropped him and said, okay, you're not listening to my advice? Goodbye.
Well, I mean, the attorney's not giving legal advice. The attorney was giving PR advice. If there's no legal trouble, why do they need a criminal defense attorney? And maybe, I mean, an innocent construction could be They just don't want the attention. They don't want to be part of this circus. That could be it too. They just want to, get on with their lives and put this behind them.
And live in Lakeview peacefully. We all want to live in Lakeview peacefully.
Yeah.
Because they live right down the street. We can go see them if you want.
Maybe, someday.
We can take Punky and Hayek for a walk.
They probably aspire to live in Streeterville someday, near me and Jussie.
Yeah.
Have,
Sure.
Like, go to Subway for lunch after a particularly intense workout session.
Get yourself a tuna sandwich. I love tuna when it's minus 23 degrees out at night.
It's the best
tuna
time
at 2 a.m. I mean, really, that's when you get the gyro and the fries and,
Just want to detail some of these connections, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Between Tina Chen and the Smollett family. Chen and Smollett's sister, Journey Smollett Bell, joined together in March 2018, South by Southwest in Austin, to proclaim there is no Time's Up without women of color. Some event.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They took the stage together again at the United State of Women Summit in L.A.
God, I'm missing all these great summits.
Smollett and another sister, Jazz Smollett Worwell, worked for the Obama campaigns in 2008 and 2012, volunteered as surrogates. And Chen goes on, she was a lawyer at Skadden Arps, was bundled some $200,000 to Obama's 2008 presidential campaign, served as a special assistant, then chief of staff to Michelle Obama. So the other thing, too, here is, and it would be fun if somebody in the Chicago Press Corps who Kim Foxx would actually speak to would ask some of these more probing questions. So were you worried about being put on the stand? Is there any indication, and same thing of her first assistant, was there any indication Smollett's attorneys were going to put Kim Foxx on the stand? And then was Kim Foxx worried about whatever coming out through that process, discovery during the pretrial, or her on the witness stand being cross-examined? Was she worried about additional things she may have done that have not been disclosed? Was she worried about having to bring in other people, like Tina Chen's former boss? Was there involvement in any way by Michelle Obama or any other politically powerful person? Did any other politically powerful person inveigh on Smollett's behalf? Those would be questions I'd want to know. I don't know the answers, but because of the individuals who have been disclosed as have been involved, forcing Fox's hand for a recusal, it would be interesting to ask those questions and hear what they have to say. But that's me. I'm curious.
Well, I'm sure that Holmes, Smollett's other attorney, she would have gone after Kim Foxx for sure. Anything to protect her client.
Absolutely.
And she,
Vigorous defense.
She's been a hard line on Chicago police about this, and she was on CNN again. So she's been fighting back and just saying that, we're besmirching her client's character.
Jeff in Berwyn, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Greetings, Dan and Amy. Last night I watched an interview of Victor Davis Hanson by Laura Ingraham, where he made the point that he was speculating that the reason Kim Foxx / the Cook County State's Attorney's Office dropped the charges against Smollett was his lawyers said, look, you're not going to win this case. He will get acquitted by, he didn't say these words, jury nullification, but that's what I'm going to. The OJ thing.
No. Okay, thanks for the call, Jeff, and that's one perspective, and I rarely disagree with VDH, but no, that's not why they did it. That's not why they did it.
They did it because Kim Foxx taking the witness stand.
There's just no way. That's not why they did it. Of course, the defense attorney of a high-profile client is going to say, and with race being a component, is going to say, we're going to OJ you, of course. You heard from Fox and her first assistant, case was strong, and he would have been convicted. We don't know. But you can't not prosecute cases on that basis. And there's no indication that informed their decision.
But if that was going to happen, Chicago police spent hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and Mayor Emanuel's trying to get back the $150,000. And then you had the two brothers, they testified before the grand jury, and so did others, and they came back with an indictment. So that says to me, grand jury indictments in Cook County mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. All that time and energy for what? For $10,000 and for him to go to Rainbow Push to hang out with at-risk youths, the Utes.
John in Cherville.
Yeah, just a couple comments there. I know Michelle is again proud to be an American. Number two, I hope Cook County can protect those sealed records better than Patrick Ryan's divorce proceedings.
Jack Ryan.
When Jack Ryan, when they were running for senator back in 2006.
Thanks for the call, John. Well, this just in, they can't. The difference with the Jack Ryan divorce file, that was actually sealed, and the Tribune went to court in California to have a judge issue an order to unseal it. Here,
so ridiculous.
Here we've got the police reports that have already been posted at CWB Chicago. I think ABC7 posted them as well. So we've got
everyone has them.
60 pages of the actual police reports, the police notes, interviews, and so forth. Now, much of it's redacted, but the seal didn't last very long, did it?
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Your Sprinter or light-duty diesel is the lifeblood of your business. You can't afford to have just anyone care for this major piece of equipment. You wouldn't go to an eye doctor to fix your knee, so don't go to any shop to fix your Sprinter, Duramax, Cummins, or Power Stroke vehicle. Go to the experts at Remke's Garage. Remke's Garage doesn't just fix a problem, they find a solution. Remke's goal is to make sure you never lose a dollar of business. That's why owner Joe Remke sits with you and creates a maintenance plan specific to your unique vehicle. Go to Remke'sGarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Sprinter and light-duty diesel vehicles. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty on all parts. They'll even pick up, deliver, and offer you a loaner vehicle free of charge. Go to Remke'sGarage.com to schedule your free maintenance plan consultation.
Remke's Garage, repairing America.
You've heard me talk about Northridge Prep for a year. I have friends with children at the school, and they rave about it. Let me tell you a few things they don't do at Northridge. They don't put an iPad in every boy's hands and somehow expect the boys to focus. The Northridge boys turn off their phones and learn with paper and pen. They don't expect boys to sit still all day in the classroom. They have gym every day and allow the boys to play tag, throw snowballs, and the like. They don't tell their boys that being masculine is bad. Instead, they teach what it means to be a gentleman and expect their students to act like gentlemen. The teachers expect a lot from the young men. The coaches push them, and the boys love Northridge. If you have a son entering middle or high school, you should learn more about Northridge. Their next open house, Sunday, April 7th, week from Sunday, April 7th. I encourage you to register online at northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Hey, it's March, and for many of us, that means allergy season. And our friends at Balance of Nature have an incredible Madness in March discount that you're going to want to take advantage of, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But first, I have to tell you about Balance of Nature. Think of it this way, 10 servings of fruits and veggies in a single capsule. You don't have to waste your time at the grocery store buying all these fruits and veggies that you know a lot of the time sits and rots in your refrigerator. Just take Balance of Nature. Again, 10 servings of fruits and veggies in a single capsule. There's no preservatives or dyes. It's all natural. And it really helps boost your immune system. And I'm taking it right now, too, and I love Balance of Nature. I've spent time with Dr. Douglas Howard. He's the founder and creator of Balance of Nature. He showed me the emails, played the voicemails of real people who are taking Balance of Nature and feeling better and living healthier lives, and that can be you, too. And today only, when you go to balanceofnature.com, use this promo code, AmyJ7, AMYJ, the number 7, all one word. It is a buy one, get one free special. Yes, we're calling it the and one special. Get it? And one. Use promo code AMyJ7, all one word, when you visit balanceofnature.com or simply call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Lester Holt sits down with Jim Comey. I know you wanted to hear more from Jim Comey, so you're going to get to it 6:06.
And later, Toni Preckwinkle's back on the air with her new campaign ads. A little too late. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Perry Williams, who's in for Mike Scott.
Here's some of the stories that we're following. Family and friends will gather today to remember the Chicago police officer killed this past weekend. And authorities are investigating after a 2-month-old boy died this week on Chicago's far south side. Time for an update from Fox News on AM 560 The Answer, WIND. It's 6 o'clock.
Trump versus Comey again. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. They each gave interviews with differing takes on the special counsel Russia report and the investigation into election meddling on the president's campaign. Fox's Rachel Sutherland's live in Washington.
Chris, President Trump is accusing FBI officials of committing treason, and he's vowing to release the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrants used by the FBI to probe his campaign, telling Fox's Sean Hannity.
If we had done this to President Obama, you'd have 100 people in jail right now, and it would be treason.
James Comey, the FBI director the president fired, defended the agency during an interview with NBC News.
The FBI is not corrupt, not a nest of vipers and spies.
Comey said he's confused about why special counsel Robert Mueller left it to the attorney general to decide the question of obstruction of justice. Chris.
Rachel, thanks. U.S. trade negotiators are back in Beijing for more talks with Chinese officials. We're told progress is being made on issues like the Chinese government forcing American companies to share technology. President Trump tweets the FBI and DOJ will investigate the outrageous Jussie Smollett case in Chicago. It is an embarrassment to our nation. Smollett is accused of lying about a hate crime attack.
The Empire actor's case was dropped by the city's prosecutors Tuesday, even though prosecutors said he believes Smollett was behind the attack January 29th. His attorney saying the two brothers involved in the attack are lying. Prosecutors offered no explanation for dropping the case, which infuriated Chicago's mayor and police. Smollett maintains his innocence. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
There's a standoff at a hotel in Manchester, New Hampshire. One man has been shot and killed in a confrontation with police and federal drug enforcement agents, with two others now barricaded in a first-floor room. Police have evacuated that hotel and a restaurant nearby. No officers were hurt. The man killed is identified as a 51-year-old man from Manchester, New Hampshire. Agents say he had a gun in his hand. This is Fox News.
Good morning. Mostly cloudy skies, and it's 50 degrees in Chicago at 6:02 on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Perry Williams. Family and friends will gather today to remember the Chicago police officer killed this past weekend. Officer John Rivera was off duty when he was shot early Saturday while sitting in his vehicle in the River North neighborhood. His visitation takes place this afternoon at Elmwood Chapel in Chicago's East Side neighborhood, with his funeral to be held tomorrow morning at the chapel. 2 men have been charged in Rivera's death. Police are searching for a third person believed to be involved in his killing. Authorities are investigating after a 2-month-old boy died this week on Chicago's far south side. Police say Rayshawn Clark's caretaker told investigators she left him in the care of a male at a home in the 500 block of West 107th. When she returned to the home Monday morning, she found Clark on a mattress not breathing. The child was taken to the hospital where he died later that day. Senate Republicans are putting forth a resolution calling for a change in the state constitution. The change proposed Tuesday would require the House and Senate to meet a 2/3 majority before raising or enacting new taxes. The current threshold to approve a tax increase is a simple majority in each chamber. The new plan would make it much harder for the legislature to create new sources of revenue. In sports news, the Cubs begin the 2019 season in Texas today against the Rangers. John Lester will make his 3rd straight opening day start for the Northsiders and the 8th overall of his career. Texas opposes with Mike Minor. Meanwhile, the White Sox are in Kansas City today to open their season against the Royals. Carlos Rodon makes his first career opening day start for the Southsiders. KC opposes with Brad Keller. This news report is sponsored by Ashley Home Store. Ashley Home Store's anniversary sale is in its final week. It's your last chance to save up to 30% or get no interest for 6 years. Come in today and celebrate together with style. Ashley Home Store, this is home. See store for details. AM 560 News Time is 6:04. Where are the cars this morning? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
My name is Stefan Saporta, and I am a proud sponsor of AM 560's Food for the Poor campaign. I am also the principal attorney of one of the premier mortgage foreclosure defense firms in the state of Illinois. Since 2009, colleagues have turned to us for both instruction and guidance, and many have referred their clients to us. By zealously defending their cases in court, we have enabled many homeowners to qualify for loan modifications and other alternatives to foreclosure. We have even defeated the banks outright in a handful of cases, saving our clients hundreds of thousands of dollars in the process. Give our offices a call to learn more about your rights and how we can help you protect and preserve your home. 815-741-9400. Support a law offices. Quality legal representation at reasonable rates. Our number again is 815-741-9400. Thank you.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. Patriot Software provides cloud-based accounting software that is super easy for business owners and powerful enough for accountants. With Patriot's accounting software, business owners can easily invoice customers, receive payments, pay bills, and track the money in and out of their company without needing a college degree in accounting. And with Patriot Software's patent-pending cash-to-accrual toggle switch, the business's accountant can log in, view the books, and make complex entries to ensure the business has accurate financial statements. Easy but powerful. Everybody wins. Go to PatriotSoftware.com, use promo code RADIO, and get 2 months of accounting software free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results may vary. See website for details.
But hey, I'm buying a huge flat screen TV so I can finally see it without my glasses.
Why not just get LASIK at the Lasik Vision Institute? That's what I'm doing.
My glasses and contacts are a pain. I'd love to finally get rid of these, but who can afford LASIK?
You can. Because the Lasik Vision Institute is offering dramatically low prices and an absolutely free consultation. Just text TRY to 350-350. The Lasik Vision Institute has already performed over 1 million procedures. They use the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for a fraction of what others charge. Better vision, better value. The Lasik Vision Institute. Make this the year you finally get LASIK. For a free consultation plus an extra 20% discount, text TRY to 350-350. You'll see for free if LASIK is right for you. That's TRY to 350-350.
Pet parents trust Invisible Fence brand with their pets. Their Consumer Digest awarded Boundary Plus technology is guaranteed to protect your pet from escaping while providing them the freedom they deserve. Visit InvisibleFence.com to learn more. That's InvisibleFence.com.
At 6:07 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
Kennedy inbound. Traffic is slow. Nagel to Lawrence. It's 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound still fine at 20. See no delays on the 8th at this hour. On Eisenhower, the delays are from 17th Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue and Demon to Ashland. 32 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound, 29. Inbound Stevenson has traffic hitting the brakes. First Central to Kedzie, then Ashland to the Ryan. 39 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound fine at 34. Ryan is heavy. Merge to 76, then from the Stevenson to the Burn Circle. 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57's good. Bishop Ford got a 5-minute delay from the Stony Island feeder to the Ryan. Tollways are good right now. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
More Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Today and tonight, cloudy with a brief shower or two. The high today 59, low tonight 39. Clouds and cool tomorrow. Some occasional rain for the afternoon. High tomorrow near 46. Morning rain or snow shower on Saturday. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 6:30. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. The fallout from the Barr summary of the Mueller report continues. You got to watch the D.C. press corps circle back to all of their friends who were giving their hysterical reporting the indicia of legitimacy. Oh, former CIA Director John Brennan. Ooh, former DNI James Clapper. Clap on, clap off, James Clapper. Former FBI Director Jim Comey. We've heard from Brennan. We haven't heard from Clapper. I haven't.
I don't think he said anything.
And we've heard from Comey because he sat down with NBC5's and Chicago's very own Lester Holt. Yeah, yesterday. And
they're in some like a hotel room or something.
Maybe they were
sit down. The ladies were chatting,
getting away for the weekend. Comey on his reaction to the release of the Barr letter summarizing the Mueller report.
No, I didn't know what answer the special counsel would arrive at. When I was fired, we hadn't finished the work, so I didn't know what conclusion it would end up at. I think it's good that he was able to finish the work and establish both that the Russia thing wasn't a hoax. The Russians interfered in the election in a huge way, and that's really important. And then another piece of good news. The evidence didn't establish that any Americans conspired as part of that effort. That should be good news no matter what party you're associated with.
But was it good news for the investigation that you started? Did you go back after hearing this and say, maybe there wasn't a there like I thought?
Oh, no. The investigation had to happen. It would have been irresponsible not to investigate. And we don't investigate, despite what the partisans say, to find a particular result. We investigate to find out what's true. And as best I can tell, it looks like Bob Mueller was allowed to do that, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, it's good news all around. Oh, well, here's some more good news. The FBI isn't corrupt. The FBI has been exonerated, according to Comey.
No, I actually see it the other way. It establishes, I hope, to all people, no matter where they are on the spectrum, that the FBI is not corrupt, not a nest of vipers and spies, but an honest group of people trying to find out what is true. And that's what you see here. And that's why it'll be important to read the entire report. But based on what I've seen, this is a good thing.
So again, good thing. The FBI has been vindicated. Unfortunately, I hate to break it to you, according to Jim Comey, President Trump has not been vindicated.
I don't know that I read the letter from the Attorney General that way. I read him as saying the special counsel didn't find that the evidence established that there was any conspiracy between an American and the Russians. What other evidence there is, what evidence there might be that falls short of that standard, I have no idea.
Established is the word that you're honing in on there?
Correct. And so I don't know what the special counsel found, and I'm prepared, I hope everybody is, to wait and get the transparency that we need.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. He's so earnest, so honest. Paragon of integrity, Jim Comey, Mr. Smith in Washington, the Diogenes of the Beltway. It's such a pleasure to hear from him again.
Oh, is this the same guy who leaked some classified information to his college professor?
That's him.
Yeah.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Do you agree with Jim Comey? And remember, he's a former FBI director.
Yeah.
He's an authority. He's a former federal prosecutor. He's an authority. Do you agree with him that the FBI has been vindicated by the summary of the Mueller report and President Trump has not? On the matter of the former issue, the FBI being vindicated, I'd like to cede my time to Professor Dershowitz, Alan Dershowitz, who had this to say in a recent panel discussion on Crosstalk on RT. And we'll bring Andy McCarthy in, too. He's got a good op-ed at foxnews.com on the topic of Jim Comey's claim that the FBI has been vindicated, particularly when he says the FBI, he means him and his senior leadership team. We're not talking about the rank-and-file agents. We're talking about the politicians at the top of the agency once upon a time.
I think the FISA court was defrauded. That is, you can show information to the FISA court which isn't particularly compelling as long as you tell the court what the source is and alert it to the weaknesses and the conflicts of interest. But you cannot provide material to the court claiming it's credible when you yourself know that it lacks credibility. Particularly the FISA court operates ex parte. They don't hear two sides. They only hear one side. So they trust the government officials to present the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And the government officials who presented the application for the FISA warrant failed that test.
So there's the FISA piece, lying or at least misleading the FISA court. And as Dershowitz points out, importantly, only one side appears before the FISA court, the government. And so there is that much more of, that much more importance that the government be fully transparent with the judge, be completely honest, even if it's to say we don't know, we haven't verified these portions of the Steele dossier, for example, or any of the Steele dossier for that matter, but we want this FISA warrant, the surveillance warrant anyway, and they didn't do that. That's a problem. Another issue, and this is pointed out by a sort of famed NSA whistleblower, Bill Biney, who, by the way, was the subject of a great documentary called A Good American, which I highly recommend. He was on the same panel discussion with Dershowitz, and here's the concerns he expressed about those agencies, DOJ, FBI, CIA, that have all been cleared by the Barr letter, according to Jim Comey.
No, they didn't. In fact, we were prepared to testify in front of any of the committees, also Mueller's group. None of them wanted to know about the forensics. It was very clear to us the forensics proved that the data from the DNC was downloaded to a storage device and transported for some distance prior to WikiLeaks putting it on the web. Other material that WikiLeaks put out didn't show the transfer of data to storage, but the DNC data did show that. So it was a very clearly someone who was very close to the data who copied it down to a thumb drive or a CD-ROM of some sort and then transported it for some period of distance. Okay. But other than that, there's another really major problem here with this whole episode of Russiagate, and it has to do with the use of intelligence agencies against political parties and against individuals in the country.
Yeah, the politicization and weaponization of the Justice Department for politics. That's another issue. Andy McCarthy, writing at foxnews.com. The Russians are very good at espionage. They neither needed nor wanted American help. Their operations predated Trump's entry into the campaign, and some of those operations were anti-Trump. That's also been lost in the discussion. No supporting logic for the investigation. Never any evidence. There was just unverified, sensational, hearsay nonsense, the Steele dossier generated by the Clinton campaign. He also reminds us a bit of the timeline. By the time Mueller was appointed on May 17th of 17, the FBI had been trying unsuccessfully for nearly a year to corroborate the Steele dossier's allegations. Top Bureau officials also conceded to congressional investigators they were never able to do so. Never able to do so. Notwithstanding that, the Justice Department and the FBI had relied on the dossier 3 times in what they labeled, quote, unquote, verified applications to obtain warrants from the FISA court. In other words, in each and every application, after describing the hacking operations carried out by Russian operatives, the Justice Department asserted the FBI believes the Russian government's efforts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential election were being coordinated, and with Carter Page specifically, and perhaps other individuals associated with Trump's campaign. That's what they were asserting. They were asserting they had verified intelligence, which they did not. The Justice Department continued to make the allegation to the FISA court for months after Trump was sworn in as president. Then in June of 2017, about a month after Mueller took over the investigation while he was still getting his bearings, the Justice Department and FBI went on to obtain a 4th FISA warrant. Yet again, they used the same unverified information. Yet again, they withheld from the court the fact this information was generated by the Clinton campaign, that the Clinton campaign was peddling it to the media at the same time the FBI was providing it to the court, and that Christopher Steele, the informant on whom they were so heavily relying, had misled the FBI about his media contacts. And McCarthy goes on to say, the most telling thing about the 4th FISA warrant to him, the fact that it was never renewed. Never renewed. The 90-day authorization lapsed in September 17. When it did, Mueller did not seek to extend it with a new warrant. What does that tell you about the credibility that Mueller placed on what the FBI had been doing under the aforesaid Jim Comey and his team? 8 days after Comey was fired, Mueller was named special counsel. The appointment wrested control of the Trump-Russia counterintel investigation from Andy McCabe, transferring it to the special counsel. And then in August, Mueller removes the lead investigator, Peter Strzok, because of the text messages with his lover.
I'm in love, Lisa Page.
By autumn 2017, when it would have been time to go back to the court and reaffirm the dossier's allegations of this Trump-Russia espionage conspiracy, the major FBI officials involved in placing those unverified allegations before the court had been sidelined. Clearly up to speed after 4 months of running the investigation, Mueller decided not to renew these allegations. So the overriding question, based on the detail Andy McCarthy provides here, which is excellent, one of the few lawyers that can actually write and write lucidly, how long has Mueller known there was no Trump-Russia collusion? A long time.
Long time, yeah.
We're talking about September 17. He wipes his hands of what Comey's FBI was doing with the information they were submitting to the FISA court and the warrants they had obtained, the surveillance they had done. Washed his hands of it September of 17,
and why did
a year and a half
so long
ago.
To release it?
I would suggest because it's what McCarthy has also said for some time, that it was never a Russian collusion investigation. Principally, it was an obstruction of justice investigation and an impeachment investigation. Never criminal, except to the extent you could make out some broad outlines of possible obstruction for the purposes of providing ammunition for a political prosecution. And this, to some extent, may explain why, Mueller punted on the question of obstruction as so summarized by Bill Barr in his letter. And Comey was asked about this, too. It was interesting to hear Comey sort of soft pedal a criticism of Mueller, his buddy, with respect to not reaching a decision on obstruction.
The idea that a special counsel wouldn't reach the question and hand it to the political leadership doesn't make sense. I'm not prejudging it. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense on its face.
Mm-hmm. Mike, on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, excuse me if I don't get up and applaud the FBI, but their performance in Chicago has been less than stellar. They never indicted a Daley, nor did they ever indict a Veneco. That makes them corrupt. They backed off when Detective Joe Earhart was shot in a raid, and they let him there to die. He didn't die, but he was paralyzed. He was denied medical attention for 4 hours. That makes them cowards. And the fact that none of the other federal agents, the ATF, the DEA, or the IRS wants anything to do with them, won't even let them in the Federal Bowling League, makes them a bunch of clowns. They deserve a slap. That's.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes. Warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank. Where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Spring is in the air, but if you've got school-age kids, you should already be thinking about back-to-school season this fall. And you should consider sending your child to a private school at half the regular cost thanks to halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools from all over Chicagoland that are offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price with no catch. Find a school near you, purchase the voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's that simple. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located across Chicagoland, including Westminster Christian in Elgin, Faith Evangelical Lutheran in Antioch, Kingswood Academy in Darien, Lake County Baptist in Waukegan, Calvin Christian in South Holland, Covenant Christian in Aurora. Make private school affordable for your family for the first time this year. These vouchers will sell out, so visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water, like our client from Mount Prospect.
We decided to refinish our basement and wanted to put in new flooring, but we've always had a seepage problem. I heard Chicagoland Waterproofing on the radio and had to call. Gus came to our home and identified the problem immediately, explained a solution which involved 60 feet of interior trenching along the foundation. His guys were on time, professional, and cleaned up when they were done. Our refinished basement is 100% dry. Dry as a bone. Great experience. In Gus, we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
Hey, it's March, and that means the madness in March continues, and we've got a great deal for you that we'll tell you about in just a second. But first, I want to talk to you about Balance of Nature. 10 servings of 31 different fruits and vegetables. It's all there because, admit it, you're not eating it on your own, and we all know how important fruits and veggies are for your diet to stay healthy, to boost your immune system, especially during spring allergy season. I met Dr. Douglas Howard, his wife, and his son. They're so passionate about their product. They really, truly care about their customers. They show me the emails and the voicemails that they've received from people who've lost weight, who have less bloating, who are living happier and healthier lives because of Balance of Nature, because they're giving their bodies what they need, and that's fruits and veggies. And today only, when you go to balanceofnature.com, use promo code AMYJ7, all one word, AMY, the letter J, the number 7. And guess what? It's a buy one, get one special. We're calling it the and one special. So use promo code AMYJ7, all one word, when you visit balanceofnature.com or call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751.
On April 5th, don't miss The Best of Enemies, starring Academy Award nominee Taraji P. Henson.
I play Ann Atwater, a civil rights activist who was able to approach hate with love.
And Academy Award winner Sam Rockwell.
All the better is you don't get in my way.
Well, I'm going to get in your way.
If you change one heart, you can change the world.
I have a Bible.
And then you ought to know, same God made you, made me.
The Best of Enemies, based on the untold true story. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters April 5th.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-700-1368. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-700-1368. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-700-1368. 1-800-700-1368.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, aren't you going to ask me about the hardware here?
You should be embarrassed to bring a second-place trophy into this studio.
Big Chicago second place, 5th and 6th grade girls. Second place, all right? I know if you're not first, you're last. I understand, but I want you to know that we covered the spread yesterday. The spread was 15, and we got beat by 10 points only to Bell. And the best thing...
What are you, Pete Rose?
Well, we were a 5 seed, and the fact that we made it to the championship game is huge. We had to beat Nettlehorse, Hamilton, and Disney to get to the big dance, to the big show. But the best part was the Bell basketball coach got a technical.
And then he took home a first-place trophy. Boy, he must be beside himself. Yeah.
No, I'm proud of my girls. For the whole season, we scored 309 points. Not bad. Yesterday, we were outmanned. I mean, they were a better team. They were. They were taller. That's why.
Any given day. Well, you didn't know they were taller until you showed up? How did you game plan for the height disadvantage?
Well, I tried to double team number 17. She scored 12 of their 18 points. That didn't work. She's tall. I mean, she's tall, athletic. She's a good baller. And she just drove that lane. And then I tried to go back to a 2-3 defense, but nobody was listening to me. And we were playing man-to-man. If
you just had to take one player out, you could go boxing one.
And we have never gone over the boxing one.
Oh, so it's a coaching failure then.
You know what? I failed as a coach yesterday. I'll admit it.
Well,
I don't care.
Well, I want you to apologize to the girls on that
failed
team.
Miserably.
I want you to apologize to the girls and the families for this failed season.
That is not a failure. Do you know when the last time Blaine girls or boys made it to a championship game?
I do.
Never, because we're more of a volleyball school and a soccer school.
Everybody knows that about Blaine.
Exactly. Bell's the basketball school. We're volleyball and soccer. So it's all right. I'm proud of my girls. We had a great season. We had a good run, and I love you guys.
Everybody gets a trophy.
No, that's not. No, that's.
Everybody gets a trophy. Second place.
You don't think you should get a trophy for second place?
You get a set of steak knives. Third place.
Yeah.
You're all fired. You're all expelled.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, circle the infield with respect to our Democrat aspirants for the White House. As Joe Biden, speaking at the Joe Biden Courage Awards, I'm pausing for people to insert their own joke.
Okay.
Decried white culture. That's at 6:36.
And later, for reparations, how about baby bonds? Cory Booker explains. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Harry Williams in for Mike Scott.
Good morning. Mostly cloudy skies, and it's 47 degrees in Chicago at 6:30 on AM 560 The Answer. President Trump is weighing in on this week's developments in the Jussie Smollett case. He tweeted this morning, FBI and DOJ to review the outrageous Jussie Smollett case in Chicago. It's an embarrassment to our nation. It comes after prosecutors in Chicago dropped all 16 charges the Empire actor was facing in connection with accusations he lied to police about an alleged racist and homophobic attack by two men wearing MAGA hats. When the story first broke in January, Trump sympathized with Smollett, saying it doesn't get worse as far as I'm concerned. After the actor was accused of staging the whole thing, Trump called out Smollett on Twitter, asking, "What about MAGA and the tens of millions of people you insulted with your racist and dangerous comments?" Meanwhile, Cook County State's Attorney Kimberly Fox is rejecting speculation that Empire actor Smollett received special treatment. Mark Mayfield with the particulars.
Fox told NBC Chicago that Smollett was afforded the same opportunity that anyone in Cook County would get for a nonviolent offense. Fox also said that she played no role in the controversial decision to drop all the charges in the case. After her recusal, reports did surface that Fox had tried to persuade Chicago police to turn the case over to the FBI. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel called the decision to toss out the charges against the actor a whitewash of justice. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
A state representative is proposing a bill that would allow school children to anonymously report bullying. John Cabello created the bill aimed at addressing bullying problems in Illinois schools. DCFS would answer the toll-free child abuse hotline and provide callers with guidance on how to handle the situation, and would give the anonymous report to the superintendent or administrator of the school. In sports news, the Blackhawks will try to keep their playoff hopes alive tonight against the Sharks in San Jose. The Hawks have dropped 4 of their last 5 games, including a 1-0 loss to the Coyotes Tuesday night. AM 560 news time is 6:33. How bad is traffic? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Dennis Prager runs down the list of the changes the left wants.
It's an amazing thing in America. The Democrats, because they're on the left, they really want to take it down. Do you understand what they are aiming at? They are aiming at the Electoral College, the vote at 16, extending the court to 15 members. One of the mottos of the left is nothing is sacred.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is going to be here soon, and it's the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
First Mortgages, Impact Mortgage Group, DBA Cash Call Mortgage, 19500 Jamboree Road, Irvine, California, 92612, NMLS 128231. Equal housing lender not licensed in all states, including New York. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing terms and restrictions. Okay, here's the deal. You're a freelancer, a hired hand, a self-made, self-owned business of one. Whether you're a contractor, creative director, or consultant, you're the boss. And that makes things easy. Unless, of course, you're trying to get a mortgage. When it comes to qualifying for a cash-out refi, gig economy workers come with more obstacles, more complexities, and more stress, right? Wrong. Dial 800-815-0745, and one of our cash-out mortgage specialists will help you qualify for the lowest interest loan possible, regardless of your source of income. It's the easiest call you'll make all day. Dial 800-815-0745. That's 800-815-0745. Make the cash call today. That's 800-815-0745.
At 6:35 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
On the inbound Kennedy Expressway, we're seeing delays from Canfield to Lawrence and Addison to California. Travel time is 29 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Edens is still looking good. Inbound Eisenhower, traffic's tied up 25th Avenue to 17th Avenue, 1st Avenue to Harlem, western to the Burns Circle. 35 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Inbound Stevenson, delays start around Harlem. 41 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. The Rhine is 25 minutes from 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, 90 to the merge, Bishop Ford 18. Northbound Tri-State traffic's heavy around Bishop Ford Freeway to the Thornton Quarry, and farther north, Reagan Tollway to the Ike. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
More Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Clouds today and tonight, a brief shower or two. The high today 59, low tonight 39. Occasional rain tomorrow, high 46. A morning rain or snow shower on Saturday, otherwise cloudy, and a high 42. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 7 o'clock. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now more Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, people, listen up. Turning Point's USA Midwest Regional Conference will be held tomorrow and Saturday, featuring Vice President Mike Pence. Friday, tomorrow, you'll hear Vice President Mike Pence, Charlie Kirk, Mike Lindell, and many great conservative leaders. So bring a young leader with you to develop leadership skills and enhance your activism techniques by attending the event. Get your tickets today by going to tpusa.com. That's tpusa.com.
Speaking of vice presidents, the former Vice President Joe Biden still waiting to hear back from Neil Kinnock if he'll serve as a speechwriter before making a decision whether or not he's going to run for president. Joe Biden speaking at the Biden Courage Awards.
How did he get that gig?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a head scratcher, too.
And he's speaking real softly.
Oh, we got soft, Joe.
And earnestly. So
because he cares, Joe.
You know this is important. He's talking about big things. Like the Clarence Thomas confirmation hearing from 30 years ago. Here we go.
Let's relitigate it.
Joe Biden trying to polish up his cultural Marxist credentials with this riff.
That we see it do something. It's also because 28 years ago I chaired the Senate Judiciary Committee in a hearing, the first of its kind, the Clarence Thomas hearing, the appointment of a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court, and a brave lawyer, a really notable woman, Anita Hill, a professor, showed the courage of a lifetime, talking about her experience being harassed by Clarence Thomas. We knew a lot less about the extent of harassment back then, over 30 years ago. But she paid a terrible price. She was abused through the hearing. She was taken advantage of. Her reputation was attacked. I wish I could have done something. I opposed Clarence Thomas' nomination. I voted against him. But I also realized there was a real and perceived problem the committee faced. There were a bunch of white guys. No, I mean it sincerely. A bunch of white guys hearing this testimony in the Senate Judiciary Committee. So when Anita Hill came to testify, she faced a committee that didn't fully understand what the hell it was all about. To this day, I regret I couldn't come up with a way to get her the kind of hearing she deserved, given the courage she showed by reaching out to us. The hearing she deserved was a hearing where she was respected.
Trying again.
Now,
to defend his actions from decades ago.
There's a couple
Just leave it alone.
There's a couple of things here. One is, so white people can't question black people who are nominated for office.
No.
Or witnesses that are coming forward to testify one way or the other with respect who are black, and that's not something that white people this is like the old, like, black people can't represent white people in public office, white people can't represent black people. I don't understand, but thankfully Joe Biden is going to explain it for me in greater detail. The other thing about this, have you ever seen the collages of Joe Biden groping every woman within arm's length of him?
And giving them massages that they didn't ask
Inappropriate.
for? Very inappropriate.
Yeah, so Joe Biden may be confused. Most other adult male gentlemen are not. Now, many of those in the Senate are not adults or men, for that matter. But I just, this is so put upon. It's really entertaining, at least for me, to listen to. So I want to hear more.
Okay.
Particularly, there's nobody, I mean, perhaps not since C.S. Lewis has there been a more important voice on culture, Western culture, than Joe Biden. And he offers this cultural riff for your education.
When a woman sees a distinguished professor or lawyer subject to that kind of cultural backlash, whether it was Dr. Ford or Professor Hill, saw what they endured, it's understandable that they're reluctant to step forward and tell their own stories of harassment or abuse. Folks,
yes,
I realize
Joe?
I get a little too passionate about this sometimes, but we all have an obligation to do nothing less than change the culture in this country. That's just the laws. We change the laws. Change the culture.
But, I mean,
you know what Joe Biden's
white guilt.
You know what his greatest fault is?
What?
He's too passionate.
Wait, he has too big of a heart.
Too passionate, particularly in the area of women's rights and respecting women. He just overflows sometimes because it's so motivating to him. But he built upon changing the culture. He got a little bit more specific. This is going to be hard to hear for you white guys.
The white man's culture. It's got to change. It's got to change.
What is he talking about? I mean, he's a white man. Shut up. And there's a CNN analyst, political analyst, Joan Walsh. I don't know if you know her. She said that, if you want to change white man's culture in 2020, Joe, don't run.
Oh, snap.
No.
Oh, boy.
Boom.
I remember. I know what he's talking about with white man's culture.
Please help me out.
So remember, for example, when Michael Avenatti trotted out Julie Swetnick during the Kavanaugh confirmation hearings. Michael Avenatti, a white man. And all of the networks and all of the Democrats peddled Avenatti's attacks against Brett Kavanaugh, using Julie Swetnick as sort of a mascot, as a patsy for, Michael Avenatti's delusions of solvency and presidential and in service of his presidential aspirations or whatever other delusions from which he was suffering at the time.
Was she the one, the fraternity that said there was gang rapes? Is that one? And
Yeah.
it was all fake news? It was all a lie?
She couldn't remember if
well, he wasn't even there.
Can't remember if Kavanaugh was there. Yeah.
Kavanaugh had a calendar. He knew where he was.
Yeah.
Stacey Abrams, who Joe Biden did interview 2 weeks ago as a possible vice presidential running mate. Nobody puts baby in the corner, okay?
Because it's not
now
big
they're
enough.
talking about you being on the ticket with Joe Biden. He hasn't even declared yet, and he would take you the idea is to take you as a vice president to bolster his numbers in the primary. What do you think about that?
I think you don't run for second place. I think my responsibility.
Oh, that is a good answer.
Wow. If I'm going to enter a primary, then I'm going to enter a primary. And if I don't enter the primary, my job is to make certain that the best Democrat becomes the nominee, and whoever wins the primary, that we make certain that person gets elected in 2020.
So you put that to rest now. Then we don't have to even think about that anymore. So an Abrams-Biden ticket maybe you would consider.
I am open to all number of options right now.
So if he
I've got plenty of time on my hands.
If he
okay.
Yeah.
Instead
From the
of-
State House to the White House. Stacey Abrams.
Abrams Biden.
She
sure
flipped
he wants
the
to be
script.
vice president again.
That's fun. I love it when those magpies get together and pretend like they're having a big adult conversation about politics. They're just darling.
And Cory,
Grandma Behar and the whole group. Aunt Whoopi.
Senator Cory Booker did the town hall, CNN town hall, because that's what they do. This one was moderated by Don Lemon, my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And Cory Booker.
Lamone, I believe, is the
yes.
pronunciation.
They were talking about reparations, and he had a better idea, Dan. Listen to this. He has an idea called baby bonds. And it's not about bonding with your mom. It's baby bonds.
Can I tell you why I'm frustrated and disappointed by this reparation conversation? It's because it's being reduced to just a box to check on a presidential list, when this is so much more of a serious conversation. I've got the only legislation, I think, in the entire Congress that Columbia University says would virtually eliminate the racial wealth gap in our country. It's something called baby bonds, which means that every child born in America would get a bond when they're birth, $2,000 placed in it, and during the time, every year of their life, depending on their family's income, they would have more money placed in it.
Really? My grandparents bought me bonds. Now the government wants to buy bonds?
I'm sorry,
No.
every baby getting a $2,000 bond
Right when they're born.
would eliminate the racial gap?
Yeah.
Racial wealth gap? Is that
Racial
what
wealth
he said?
gap. Yeah, that's what he said. Does he not think before he speaks?
My head.
I know.
Was Rosario Dawson his girlfriend? He's
Sure.
dating Rosario. I am too.
Well, so
Was,
I went to prom with her.
Was
I mean-
Rosario Dawson or T-Bone there for sort of like, to provide moral support? Clay in Downers Grove, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, Dan and Amy. I just recently came across this video of Joe Biden when he was 29 years old, and how he how he said, quote, "I was prostituting myself to big corporations," and excuse me on this one, I am directly quoting this, how he was a token black person. Mm-hmm. He referred to himself in that manner. So explain to me how he's, so cultured today when he's referring to himself as a token black person. I just don't see it.
Thanks for the call.
Times have changed, Clay.
Let me tell you something. This whole idea is very interesting. We talked to Ted Van Dyke, longtime Democrat political operative, on Tuesday, who thinks, the socialists, they represent a small fragment of the Democrat socialist primary electorate. He's fearful of electing or nominating a Bernie Sanders, but he doesn't think it's going to happen. You could have a moderate like Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not going to be the Democrat socialist nominee in 2020. Assuming he runs. He's not. He is yesteryear's candidate. He doesn't have any.
He's not the it guy.
He doesn't have any of the star power that that the president under whom he served had. There is no transference to Biden, particularly 4 years removed. So hold on to your hats, because it's going to be somebody like T-Bone Booker or Reparation H or Robert Francis Frost down there from Texas. That to me is where this thing is tracking. And Joe Biden coming out of the gate with this kind of sort of sentimental nonsense to try to kind of position himself a little bit better. There's a zero appeal. Zero appeal. No way that's going to gather the same kind of energy that Comrade Bernie or Robert Francis Frost is generating at present. Greg in Schaumburg.
If I can put one more nail in his coffin right now for those younger members of your audience that would not remember the Bork hearings, let me give you an analogy of what that was like, because the man was so qualified. If Dan Proft would ever be up for a Supreme Court justice in a hearing in front of Joe Biden, when, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, when you are up, and if you were to be in front of Biden, it would be the equivalent of being in front of Dick Durbin. Thus, that's, a well-known quantity. But in terms of the analogy that would be going on there, he would be being criticized. Dan would be being criticized for using 6-syllable letter words in the morning. It's that minutia and just asinine that Biden did with Bork, and Bork was just so qualified. Would have been great.
Thanks for the call, Greg. And now he's trying to go back to, I voted against Clarence Thomas to give him street cred with respect to the identity politics addled Democrat Socialist Party.
We know your playbook.
Pretty weak. All right. Now for someone who completely misses the point, Philip in Blue Island.
You killed me, Dan.
But
not
funny
missing
guy.
the point is that isn't it hypocritical, isn't it, to vote for Trump, for somebody who says, if you're a celebrity, you can grab them by the private parts, and he has all these sexual people are coming after him because of his assaults on them women sexually, and to attack Biden for 30 years later, how many years later, since the Anita Hill hearings, where Clarence Thomas clearly assaulted her or molested her, whatever you want to say it.
Actually, that's
not
not
hypocritical of you and Amy.
Actually, with respect to Clarence Thomas, that's not obvious or a point that anyone has conceded, not to Clarence Thomas, not his wife, not to Clarence Thomas supporters. No, there's nothing obvious about it. It's just your conclusion. But there was nothing obvious about that, and there's no stipulation to that accusation that you just made. I hate to break it to you, Philip, and I hate to break something else to you, Philip, because I know you're real excited about 2020. But I go back again. The more these MSNBC and CNN town halls profile these candidates, the more goofiness in terms of policy proposals you hear from the candidates, as well as the leading lights of the left these days, like Ocasio-Cortez. The more 2020 looks for Trump like the Jeopardy board looked for Cliff Clavin.
We have 3 new contestants with us today, one of them at least, very eager to show how bright he is. So let's get right to it. Players, good luck. We're now going to play the first round of Jeopardy. And here are the categories for you. Civil servants, stamps from around the world, mothers and sons, beer, bar trivia, and finally, celibacy. If you want to coin toss backstage,
this has got to be Mr. Clavin's dream boy. Sure, he's home free, as long as he doesn't get too cocky.
Same thing with Trump, as I will continue saying. He's home free as long as he doesn't get too cocky.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The grounding of the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft hurting Southwest Airlines. Major League Baseball looking to buy regional sports networks. Those stories next.
G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free. I want to personally thank all my Plug-in Pest Free customers who've taken the time out to call, write, and who have left messages to thank me for ridding their homes and businesses of unwanted rodent and pest problems. So from me to you, I thank you. Plug-in Pest Free is the only scientifically tested and, more importantly, consumer-proven electromagnetic pest management system since 1995. Why put up with those annoying rodents and pests any longer? Plug-in Pest Free is 100% chemical-free, making it your safest bet to manage your rodent and pest problems around your family and pets. With a 60-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. So order yours today at gopestfree.com. Use promo code SAVE20 for 20% off and free shipping. That's gopestfree.com, promo code SAVE20. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget. Gopestfree.com today.
Southwest Airlines says the grounding of its Boeing 737 MAX 8 jetliners contributing to fewer bookings and a loss of $150 million in revenue. The 737 MAX grounding has led to the cancellation of 2,800 flights for Southwest. Major League Baseball hoping to gain control of local broadcasting agreements. The league has made a bid to buy 22 regional sports networks from the Disney company, those networks acquired in the deal with 21st Century Fox. A maritime official says the engines of a cruise ship failed because they didn't have enough lubricating oil. The Viking skyship stranded during a storm off the coast of Norway last weekend. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Gentlemen, the largest organ on your body is your skin, and you're probably not taking care of it the way you should. You're probably using the same body bar of soap in the shower on your face that you use to scrub other parts like some kind of barbarian. Knock it off. Time to do something smart about your skincare. There's a company right here in Chicago called Tiege Hanley, and they're doing something about how men think about and treat their skin. Started by 4 guys who know how guys think. No, guys, want to look good for the ladies.
Yeah, we know.
Tiege Hanley is simple, affordable, and effective. You get all the products you need for your daily skincare regimen shipped directly to your door through their subscription service, so you don't have to go out and shop. As painful as that is, as you know. No hidden fees or inflated costs. Very good online review scores. 2,200 reviews online, 4.6 out of 5. They have 3 different skincare systems. Each include their wash, scrub, and moisturizers with an SPF 20. Because they're cognizant about melanoma prevention, which is important when the sun's out and you're out there playing golf or basketball or enjoying the outdoors. So right now, go to Tiege.com/DanProft. Use the promo code Dan20, Dan the number 20. Check out for 20% off your first box. That's Tiege.com, TIEGE.com/DanProft, and use the promo code Dan20.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. If you need windows, call the exterior experts.
Call Crumweedy.
Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy. Well, they run a third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland exteriors now since 1953. And for them, it's all about trust, and they truly share your values. Why windows from Crumweedy? Now, Crumweedy windows are not offered anywhere else in Chicagoland. They are exclusive, and that's why they can offer a lifetime material and labor installation guarantee. A lifetime. That's a great investment for your home. Windows from Crumweedy are Energy Star rated, unlike most other windows. Also, the vinyl windows are 100% virgin vinyl. You're getting quality windows with a lifetime material and labor installation. Now, if your windows are needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. The name is not easy to spell. Just remember this. WindowsAreNeedy.com. WindowsAreNeedy.com.
Hey, it's tax season again, and the April 12th deadline is right around the corner. And if you haven't filed your tax returns the past year or for several years, or maybe you're just in debt to the IRS and don't know what to do or who to turn to, I want you to write down this name and number or save it on your phone. Attorney Stephen Leahy. That's his name, Stephen Leahy. The number is 312-664-6649. Stephen will help you. Stephen's a friend of the shows and an AM 560 host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday afternoon at 5. And you can trust an attorney named Stephen Leahy to help solve your IRS problems. He's local, right here in Chicago, available to meet with you one-on-one. And if you fear the IRS will take your money, bank account, wages, visit you at your home or job, and now they can even take your passport, then you need to talk to the trusted attorney of AM 560, and that's attorney Stephen Leahy. Call him now, 312-664-6649. Attorney Leahy will solve your IRS problems for good. Call 312-664-6649 or visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. That's ChicagoTaxTeam.com.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% fine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. You might ask, how can over 10 servings of 31 different fruits and vegetables fit into 6 vegetarian capsules? Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. We don't use any heat, air, or light drying methods that damage nutrients. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. Along with diet and exercise, Mother Nature provides fruits and vegetables to help us maintain good health.
To order, go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Baseball season is upon us, so we'll have to talk a little baseball with George Will and a little politics, too. That comes up at 7:07.
And there's some breaking news. President Trump tweets out that the FBI and that the Department of Justice should review the Jussie Smollett case. He called it an embarrassment to our nation. But now let's go into the newsroom. Perry Williams is sitting in for Mike Scott. Good morning, Perry.
Good morning. Time for an update from Fox News on AM 560 The Answer, WIND Chicago. It's 7 o'clock.
Investigating the investigation. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. With Robert Mueller's special counsel report now complete, finding no collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, the president wants to know more about how the whole thing started. In D.C., here's Fox's Rachel Sutherland.
Chris, President Trump wants to get to the bottom of what kicked off the Russia probe, telling Fox's Sean Hannity he believes some in the FBI committed treason.
How did it start? You had dirty cops, you had people that are bad FBI folks.
He called former FBI Director James Comey a terrible guy. Comey told NBC News the agency is not corrupt.
But an honest group of people trying to find out what is true.
The president said he wants to release Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrants used by the FBI to probe his campaign. He's also in favor of appointing a special counsel to review the origins of the probe. Chris?
Yeah, Rachel, the president heads to Michigan for an event this evening.
President Trump holds a Make America Great Again rally tonight in Grand Rapids in an early bid for re-election. Michigan proved to be a key state in 2016 in his victory over Hillary Clinton. Democratic candidates for president have also made stops there in recent weeks.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. There's a new Democratic Party presidential candidate. This will be the first time most of you will have heard his name. Fox's Evan Brown in Miami. Who is he?
Chris, he's Wayne Messam, the mayor of the Broward County suburb of Miramar, Florida, a town of about 140,000 that has seen considerable economic growth in the past few years.
The city of Miramar actually was able to beat out China and bring jobs to our city.
Messam was also a wide receiver for Florida State and was on the team in '93 when it won the national championship, Chris.
Evan, thank you. There's one winning Powerball lottery ticket. It was sold in New Berlin, Wisconsin. The jackpot, $768 million. It's the third largest in U.S. lottery history. This is Fox News.
Good morning, mostly cloudy skies, and it's 50 degrees in Chicago at 7:02 on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Perry Williams. This news report is sponsored by InvisibleFence.com. Pet parents trust Invisible Fence brand with their pets. Their Consumers Digest awarded Boundaries Plus technology is guaranteed to protect your pet from escaping while providing them the freedom they deserve. Visit InvisibleFence.com to learn more. That's InvisibleFence.com. Our top story, Empire actor Jussie Smollett's lawyers may be back in court this morning to file a motion to erase all of the charges from his record. All 16 felony disorderly conduct counts against Smollett for allegedly lying to police were dropped Tuesday in exchange for community service and forfeiture of his $10,000 bond payment. A woman is accused of keeping dozens of Guatemalan people in her basement in west suburban Cicero and forcing them to work. Concepcion Malinek faces labor charges after federal authorities found 19 adults and 14 children in her home on South 53rd Court during an early morning raid Tuesday. A criminal complaint claims Malinek helped the immigrants come to the U.S. and then got them jobs at a Romeoville factory. She would then force them to hand over most of their wages and threaten them with deportation. A man's accused of shooting at Chicago police before a 5-hour standoff last week on the South Side. Saren Woodfork is charged with aggravated discharge of a firearm toward an officer. Police say Woodfork fired multiple gunshots at officers and barricaded himself inside a home near 81st and Crandon. The standoff ended peacefully and no one was hurt. In sports news, Seth Curry poured in a team-high 20 points off the bench to help the Trailblazers beat the Bulls 118-98 at the UC. Shaquille Harrison led the Bulls with 21 points and 10 rebounds. The Bulls have dropped their third straight loss. This news report is sponsored by Staples. Staples has the supplies you need to run your business like a boss. This week, buy one HP OfficeJet Pro Ink cartridge and get a second 30% off, so you can stock up and save. Offer ends March 30th. Restrictions apply. See store associate or staples.com/HPBOGO for details. Staples. AM 560 news time is 7:04. Where are the cars this morning? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Sean Hannity always gives you the truth.
The witch hunt we've been through now for almost 3 years that began in July of 2016. That's when it started. And remember, we learned through Pages and Strzok's testimony last week that after 9 months investigating this, before the appointment of Mueller, they found no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion, not even a single bit of it.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. Patriot Software provides cloud-based accounting software that is super easy for business owners and powerful enough for accountants. With Patriot's accounting software, business owners can easily invoice customers, receive payments, pay bills, and track the money in and out of their company without needing a college degree in accounting. And with Patriot Software's patent-pending cash-to-accrual toggle switch, the business's accountant can log in, view the books, and make complex entries to ensure the business has accurate financial statements. Easy but powerful. Everybody wins. Go to PatriotSoftware.com, use promo code RADIO, and get 2 months of accounting software free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results may vary. See website for details.
But hey, I'm buying a huge flat screen TV so I can finally see it without my glasses.
Why not just get LASIK at the Lasik Vision Institute? That's what I'm doing.
My glasses and contacts are a pain. I'd love to finally get rid of these, but who can afford LASIK?
You can. Because the Lasik Vision Institute is offering dramatically low prices and an absolutely free consultation. Just text TRY to 350-350. The Lasik Vision Institute has already performed over 1 million procedures. They use the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for a fraction of what others charge. Better vision, better value. The Lasik Vision Institute. Make this the year you finally get LASIK. For a free consultation plus an extra 20% discount, text TRY to 350-350. You'll see for free if LASIK is right for you. That's TRY to 350-350.
Finding highly skilled accounting and finance professionals can be a challenge. Account Temps can help. With Account Temp's extensive network of accounting and finance contractors, you can be sure to find the right person for your exact hiring needs. Visit AccountTemps.com to learn more. Account Temps, a Robert Half company.
At 7:07 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
The CTA reports that 95th bound Red Line trains are standing at Loyola due to police activity. Elgin's crash on Chicago Street near State 31. Northbound Tri-State has delays this morning, first from 394 past the Lincoln Oasis, and Plainfield Road to 47th, and in pockets from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Eastbound Reagan Tollway is heavy from the Tri-State to Roosevelt. The Aidens Expressway running 19 minutes either way between Lycook and Montrose. Kennedy, 36 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, a little quicker than the Express. Eisenhower, 42 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to the Drive. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 Bishop Ford, just with 2-minute delays approaching the merge. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
More Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Today and tonight, cloudy with a brief shower or two. The high today 59, low tonight 39. Clouds and cool tomorrow. Some occasional rain for the afternoon. High tomorrow near 46. Morning rain or snow shower on Saturday. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 7:30. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Kim Fox has not recused herself from the political storm that she's created, sitting down yesterday with ABC7 to explain her office's decision on the Jussie Smollett matter. Here's what she had to say. Look, Smollett was treated just like other defendants, just like others who've been accused, similarly situated.
I think when we look at the totality of our justice system based on what he was charged with, so all of those factors at play, he was charged with a Class 4 felony, and he doesn't have a background. When I look at similarly situated people who are charged with the same level of felony without a background, I believe in this case justice was appropriate. Again, I didn't make the decision, but he was availed to alternative prosecution model that anybody else without his riches, without his fame, were also availed to. 5,700 people have participated in alternative prosecution cases. 5,700 people who, whether they did community service, some who've done restitution, had the same outcome. And so while it's frustrating, the nature of his offense, we treated Mr. Smollett in the same way we would treat similarly situated folks.
Yeah, 5,700. I bet the fact patterns were different.
Yeah, maybe, I'm sure. But she said, look, he wasn't going to go to jail, folks.
If he's found guilty on a Class 4, the likelihood was he was going to get some type of perhaps restitution, community service, not prison.
Yeah, so, had unclogged the systems. He's a nonviolent offender. He doesn't have any, he doesn't have any criminal past. Just let him go.
That may be true that he was unlikely to get jail time if convicted. But there's some other things that have to be addressed, and unfortunately, proper questions weren't asked, so they weren't properly addressed. One is her recusal. That was addressed, just sort of restating what she said when she recused herself.
I don't want any speculation or concern. I don't even want the appearance that my involvement with this case, having now seen or talked to a family member, would in any way impede this investigation.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
The National District Attorneys Association has issued a statement on Fox's and the Cook County State's Attorney's Office's decision-making from beginning to end here. Mm-hmm. They have 4 points they make. They're not compliments. When a chief prosecutor recuses himself or herself, the recusal must apply to the entire office, not just the elected or appointed prosecutor. Number one. Number two, prosecutors should not take advice from politically connected friends of the accused.
Oh, except for Chicago.
You would think that'd be obvious, not obvious, clearly. Third, when a prosecutor seeks to resolve a case through diversion or some other alternative to prosecution, it should be done so with the acknowledgement of culpability on the part of the defendant, which we didn't get in this case. And it wouldn't have cost taxpayers one more dime, wouldn't have cost any Cook County State's Attorney any more time. Didn't happen. And fourth, expunging Smollett's record at the immediate stage is counter to transparency. Law enforcement will now, not be able to acknowledge that Smollett was indicted and charged with these horrible crimes, and the full record of what occurred will be forever hidden from public view. Well, not forever, because the police reports have already made their way to the public's view.
And they're heavily redacted, but still, at least they're out there. But one movement that's big this morning is President Trump, Wayne, and he tweeted about an hour ago that the FBI and DOJ to review the outrageous Jussie Smollett case in Chicago. It is an embarrassment to our nation. And just remember how President Trump, when this first came out, this alleged attack took place, he was very measured in his response.
That I can tell you is horrible. I've seen it last night. I think that's horrible. It doesn't get worse.
Well, sure. He only knew what the reporting was at the time.
And that that it was a homophobic hate crime.
So, with respect to people want to get off and talk about the judge. They want to talk about so much talk about Smollett, Eddie Johnson. This is all about Kim Foxx for me. She's the Cook County State's Attorney. This is the law enforcement agency, or the prosecutorial agency of the second most populous county in the country. All roads lead to the top, and that's Kim Foxx. And so when she says 5,700 other cases, it's interesting she says that. She talks generally rather than specifically, because we have some specific cases that the fact patterns are similar. CWB Chicago dug up a couple. I guess
this is great.
I guess they beat Risa Lanier, the head of the Prosecutions Bureau in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, to the punch, who, after this decision was made to strike this deal with Smollett, sent an email yesterday. We're looking for examples of cases, felony preferable, where we, in exercising our discretion, have entered into verbal agreements with defendants' attorneys to dismiss charges against an offender if certain conditions were met, such as the payment of restitution, completion of community service, completion of a class, etc., but the defendant was not placed in a formal diversion program. Please ask your ASAs, Assistant State's Attorneys, if they have examples of these types of dispositions, and we will work with them further to figure out on what case it was done. Nobody's in trouble. We're just looking for further examples how we as prosecutors use our discretion in a way that restores the victim but causes minimal harm to the defendant in the long term, like drop in ratings for his TV show.
Right.
The minimal harm.
So they want to keep the business here in Chicago.
So that's a remarkable email, because it says...
How'd you get that email?
Through a reliable source.
Nice.
It says...
And he tweeted it out, by the way, at Dan Proft.
Right.
And talked about it on Dennis Prager show.
But with this email,
yeah,
two things. One is they didn't look to precedent in making a decision on the Smollett case. Clearly. Now they're trying to bootstrap other examples they can present for comparison after the fact, number one. Number two, the assistant state's attorneys and the senior leadership to whom this email was sent, they're now just PR flacks for Kim Foxx and the agency.
Mm-hmm. Stop the cases that you're working on now, and I want you to review your past cases. That's efficient.
So one example that CWB Chicago drummed up, I doubt this will be used by Risa Lanier and the Fox administration there, but Minnesota couple, you may remember this story. Mm-hmm. They falsely claimed to have been robbed of $20,000 in cash and property on Lower Wacker Drive. Fabricated a story about three men confronting them with a knife and so on. All the stuff stolen. Investigators were suspicious about the claim. The two pled guilty to fabricating the story, filing a false police report. The man was sentenced to 2 years second chance probation and fined $584. The woman was sentenced to 130 hours of community service. Both pled guilty. Both of their cases adjudicated in court. Both were given probation plus substantial sentences of community service. So I guess that's probably the closest comparison we have, at least that's been unearthed so far, to the Smollett case. And this is recent. This is under Fox's tenure, during Fox's tenure. That's not the same approach that was taken with Smollett now, is it?
No, it was not. And there's other cases, too. I remember that Iowa doctor who said he was stabbed while walking along the Chicago River. He was, and I just remember the story because he was from Iowa and he was a doctor. And it turns out he stabbed himself. Okay, and he had to pay tens of thousands of dollars and do community service. But he had to plead guilty. So because he gave Chicago a black eye. And they said, well, we have the surveillance camera. You were running and nobody approached you and nobody stabbed you. He stabbed himself to be victimized for some reason because something was going on with him. Had to go to Northwestern Hospital. It was a big news story, big in Iowa.
Well, the admission of guilt is the key, right? Because then you're done with the case. There's none of this nonsense, this PR operation that's working on behalf of Smollett to assert his innocence, to suggest wrongly that he was exonerated, to posture about defamation lawsuits against the city, which is of course absurd. None of this. At least you start to reduce the circus, and you can just argue about the severity of the sentence. But the Cook County State's Attorney's Office didn't do that.
Well, anybody who embarrasses this city with some bull jive stories, I think should go to jail. Because it happens a lot more than you guys know. A lot more than is being reported. And only if it's someone prominent like a doctor or a movie star or, a couple robbed of $20,000 on Lower Wacker, then we're going to hear about it. But what they did was so wrong. Kim Foxx, if we reelect her, we are the stupidest county in the country.
I'm sorry. I think that's already been established, so I don't know. That would just sort of be piling on. Kim Foxx, more on Kim Foxx. Simple questions. Was Smollett guilty in your mind? And if so, why didn't you try the case?
Jussie Smollett had not been found guilty by a court of law. We believe that the facts were sufficient to charge and try Mr. Smollett for the crimes.
Do you consider him guilty?
He chose this alternative prosecution method. The court has not found him guilty. I believe based on the facts and the evidence that was presented in the charging decision made by this office believed that they could prove him guilty.
Do you think that he's culpable of falsifying a police report?
I think this office, based on charging decisions, believe that he is culpable of doing that.
Mm-hmm. And so if this office believes he's culpable, why not have the office try him?
Because this is consistent with what we do in alternative prosecution. And I think it's important because I don't think people understand what that is.
I think people understand.
In the last 2 years, we've had 5,700 people.
And then, she goes on to restate the talking point she started with. Here's the question, though. Is Jussie Smollett really the problem? Walk out into the forest like former FBI Director Jim Comey, and I want you to reflect on this question. Is Jussie Smollett the problem? Or are we the problem? Amy. Specifically you. Let me introduce you to Isaac Bailey. He's a college professor at Davidson.
Okay.
I know you're impressed, as well you should be. I hate crimes as much as any other thinking person. This is published at CNN.com. You won't be surprised when you hear it. But hate crimes are, and the like that involve celebrities who ultimately go unharmed and receive instant support from millions of people who've never felt, from millions of people, have never felt compelling to me. Mm-hmm. I started caring about the Smollett story only because of the reaction to the story, because we've come to view justice system as just another tool to push political agendas instead of the best way to determine truth and ensure justice. I agree with that statement, particularly Cook County certainly resembles it. And then we get this. George Zimmerman became a hero among some conservatives when he was found not guilty of the murder of Trayvon Martin, even though we now know Zimmerman began the chain of events that resulted in Martin's death.
I don't know one conservative that hailed him as a hero, but okay.
Neither do I, but exactly. He's trying, he's
a Second Amendment rights guy because he's carrying conservatives like him. Please.
And so, this is what sophists like Isaac Bailey do. They have to do look, both sides are at fault. Everybody is wrong. Smollett shouldn't be top of mind, Bailey concludes, no matter whether he's telling the truth or really staged a phony attack to boost his chances of getting a raise. But he is. That doesn't mean he should be scapegoated for our inability to focus on things far more important. That's our fault, not his. Are you properly chastened by Isaac Bailey's admonition that we contemplate things that are more important than Jussie Smollett and such celebrity cases?
Well, I like Charles Barkley's take on it. I said there is a double standard when it comes to minorities, and what happened with Jussie Smollett was wrong.
I think that we all lose. I think my black friends, my gay black friends, I think they lose because there's all repercussions when you a minority. There's always a double standard. You have to understand that and accept that. For every black gay person out there, we lost. And it's unfortunate. I don't know that kid. I wish him nothing but the best. But you have to understand, you have to always look at the big picture. Like, there's a lot of gay kids out there who are struggling. They're getting beat up, they're getting bullied and things like that, and that's not good. And then you see, there's this tenuous relationship between the black community and the cops, and we made the cops look really bad in this scenario, and there's probably going to be some resentment. So the bottom line is everybody lost in this scenario.
I like Charles Barkley sometimes, particularly when he's talking about basketball. And sometimes he's funny when he talks about things that are happening in the culture. That was a bunch of nonsense. I can't make heads or tails of what the hell he just said. We all lost. Black people lost. I don't think the cops were made to look bad.
Oh, Jussie Smollett. Oh, I thought that the cops, they couldn't find his killer and, or that his attackers, excuse me.
What are you talking about? Is there where do you think the majority understanding is of what happened? Do you think everybody understands this was a hoax and the Chicago police gave him the benefit of the doubt at the outset, pursued the facts where they led, and ultimately they led to it being a hoax? Is that not obvious to everyone? Other than Jussie Smollett and his family?
And some of his fans. But they were bashing Chicago police, saying that, this is, they're racist because of the Jason Van Dyke and Laquan McDonald case.
Look, there's people spewing nonsense all the time everywhere. I'm saying I don't know what Charles Barkley is talking about. That is just utter and complete nonsense. Oh, by the way, Jussie Smollett not out of those woods yet because the feds are not only looking at the process that led to the deal that was cut, but also still that letter, that threatening letter that he may have sent to himself.
Yeah, that he put sugar in there, or powdered sugar to make it look like anthrax.
So I think
allegedly.
I mean, in rarefied circles in Hollywood or on the set of Empire, maybe Jussie Smollett looks good, get something out of this. But in terms of where his standing is in the nation, internationally, really, I mean, don't you suspect it is an infinitesimally small percentage of people who buy this guy's rap? So the net is who looks bad? Jussie Smollett looks bad, and Kim Foxx, who happens to be black, but it's not a reflection on black people, it's a reflection on politics in Chicago. Kim Foxx looks bad, and the state's attorney's office has been diminished. The police haven't. Black people haven't. Somebody who's legitimately a victim of a crime and the evidence supports that claim haven't. It's just like you take this hoax, everybody loses. No. And now you're going to force it through a racial prism? Oh, so now a black person who's a victim of a crime or a gay black person who's a victim of a crime not going to be believed? Nonsense. Nonsense. You know what it matters? The evidence. The facts. That's what matters. Except in Cook County, where politics has supplanted the rule of law. Joe on 9094. Joe, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello.
Yeah, you're on. Joe, this is where you talk. Yeah, go ahead. Joe, you're on.
Okay, can I hear you now?
I don't know. Can you?
Just talk, Joe.
Yeah, I can hear you now, Dan. Listen, right. I just hear you talking about her statement. I've got over 2 decades in law enforcement locally here, and the 5,700 cases of diversion program she's talking about, the charges weren't dropped before the case happened. There was the plea agreement, there was an acceptance of guilty, and then there was an allocution to the facts of what their activities were. In this case, what they did is because they dropped the charges beforehand, they sealed the records and they started expungement procedures. They allowed him to come out and boast his innocence. That's what's so disheartening about this.
Right. Exactly. That's right. Thanks for the call.
So it's a conglomerate. It's a conglomerate of these things, not just the fact that there's 5,700 other diversionary programs.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call, Joe. And, by the way, there's some talk that FOP may be organizing a little gathering outside Cook County State's Attorney's office on Monday.
Really?
To protest.
Taking it to the streets, huh?
I hope they do.
I hope they do, too.
I think a lot of people will join in.
I might go to that. What time is it?
I don't know. Well, I don't know the details yet.
Yeah.
Or if it's going to materialize. One cop friend of mine said, I'm told by desk officers they've received at least a dozen calls from people out of state complaining about the Smollett case. One even started his call by asking if he could make a report on Jussie for making a false report.
No, I know. People want to sue him.
And they're all, the cops are all directing these calls to the state's attorney's office as well. They should.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ken in Plainfield.
Yeah, I just wonder if she keeps making the statement 5,700 other similar cases, yet she's got to send out an email to find even one. As the last caller said, they're not similar. You know, there were some that deals were made, but this one is just, she punted. She can't point out one case. And I don't know why nobody asked that. Just give me one case that is exactly similar.
Thanks, Ken. Jordan in Forest Park.
Yes. Hey, good morning, guys. It's clear that Fox did not follow their own procedures for their, deferred prosecution program. Typically, it lasts 12 months. You have to see an officer every month, et cetera. Also, there's a victim. The victim has to agree to it, too. Maybe she determined she was the victim, and so she agreed to it. But I think that what's interesting is that Smollett's attorney said this is not deferred prosecution.
Yes.
So there you go. So what happened is they created a new thing for Jussie, and the new thing is we're just going to drop it. But we're going to explain it as being deferred prosecution when it's not.
Right. They gaslight the public because why not? He's living my truth. A couple other questions that should be asked to Fox since she's granting interviews. Were you afraid you were going to be put on the stand?
Yeah, that's why she did this. Come on, we all know it.
And going to the communication she had with Michelle Obama's former chief of staff. Who else did you talk to about this case? You ever talk to Michelle Obama about it? Did Tina Chen ever talk to Michelle Obama about it or communicate to you that she had spoken with Michelle Obama about it? I want details. We know this is a political decision, so I want details on the politics behind the decision. We don't have those yet.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to stay local, but take it out to the suburbs. Bunch of races, local races, and referenda on the ballot on Tuesday. We're going to talk to a man involved in two of them simultaneously. Hinsdale District 86 bond issue property tax increase. And he's also running for mayor of Burr Ridge. Zach Model joins us at 7:37.
And later, with just days to go before the mayoral election, Tony Preckwinkle back on the air with campaign ads. But first, let's head straight into that newsroom. Here's Perry Williams, who's in for Mike Scott.
Good morning. Mostly cloudy skies, and it's 50 degrees in Chicago at 7:30 on AM 560. The Answer. The two candidates in the Chicago mayor's race continue to trade barbs less than a week before the runoff election. During their final TV debate last night on CBS 2, Lori Lightfoot blasted Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle for again criticizing her career as a corporate lawyer. Lightfoot said a hallmark of Preckwinkle's campaign has been about denigrating her. Preckwinkle called Lightfoot a hypocrite.
This is a person who is complaining now about the tenor of the campaign, but who in the first debate called me a liar and has repeatedly said that I'm a cockroach.
The election is on Tuesday. A man is dead and two more are wounded following a drive-by shooting on Chicago's west side. Police say the trio were standing in a parking lot last night near Division and Monticello when a dark-colored vehicle pulled up and someone inside fired shots. One of the men died at the hospital, while the other two are in stable condition. No arrests have been made. Charges are pending after two Chicago police officers were injured in the line of duty on the city's west side. Authorities say police were investigating a stolen vehicle last night in the first block of North Latrobe when a group of people gathered nearby ran off as officers approached them. Officers gave chase before 2 suspects were arrested and 4 guns were confiscated. 2 officers who suffered minor injuries during the chase were treated and released from the hospital. And a bill is moving through the House that would set limits on the number of patients Illinois nurses can take care of at one time. The limit would likely lead to healthcare facilities hiring more nurses to treat the same number of patients. Advocates say insufficient staffing makes medical mistakes more likely to happen. This news report is sponsored by Accountemps. When you could use help closing your books and need additional staff, it's time to call Accountemps. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis and fast. Call today Accountemps, a Robert Half company. AM 560 news time is 7:32. How bad is traffic? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you own or run a thriving business in the Chicagoland area? Have you overcome obstacles to make your business what it is today? If that's your business, then AM 560 wants to tell your story on the AM 560 Business Tour, presented by Signature Bank. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses all around Chicagoland, telling success stories of thriving, successful businesses. Hey, if that's you, tell us about it. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
Hey, it's March, and for many of us, that means allergy season, and our friends at Balance of Nature have an incredible Madness in March discount that I'll tell you about in just a second. But first, let's talk about Balance of Nature. Think of it this way: 10 servings of fruits and veggies in a single capsule. You don't have to waste your time and money at the grocery store buying all those fruits and veggies that you know you're not going to eat anyway, and you just throw it in the garbage. And getting our daily dose of fruits and veggies is so important, especially when it comes to staying healthy and boosting your immune system. Get Balance of Nature today. You know, I've spent time with Dr. Douglas Howard and his wife and his son. I've actually met them twice now here in the studio, and they come in full of energy. They're so passionate about their product. They love their customers. They love that their product is helping people live happier and healthier lives, and that should be you too. And today only, when you go to balanceofnature.com, use promo code AMYJ7, that's AMYJ, the number 7, all one word, for the buy one, get one special. We're calling it the and one special. Use promo code AMYJ7, all one word, when you visit balanceofnature.com or call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751.
On April 5th, don't miss The Best of Enemies, starring Academy Award nominee Taraji P. Henson.
I play Ann Atwater, a civil rights activist who was able to approach hate with love.
And Academy Award winner Sam Rockwell.
All the better is you don't get in my way.
Well, I'm going to get in your way.
If you change one heart, you can change the world.
I have a Bible.
And you ought to know, same God made you, made me.
The Best of Enemies, based on the untold true story. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters April 5th.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spaveri's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At 7:36 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
In Elgin, Chicago Street is blocked between west of 31 and Riverside Drive due to a rollover crash. The northbound Tri-State has delays this morning. The 83rd Street toll to LaGrange Road, and from the Reagan Tollway most of the way to the O'Hare Oasis. Eastbound Reagan Tollway, it's a little heavy. Tri-State to Roosevelt. The Edens is fine. Kennedy inbound delays start at Austin. 39 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 26 from Montrose. 21 on the Express. The Eisenhower's a 42-minute drive. 390 to downtown. It's Stevenson, 48 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Ryan has a jam, 35th, just past the circle. Crash in the two left lanes. It is 52 minutes, 95th to downtown. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Clouds today and tonight, a brief shower or two. The high today 59, low tonight 39. Occasional rain tomorrow, high 46. A morning rain or snow shower on Saturday, otherwise cloudy, and a high 42. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 8 o'clock. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Again, Tuesday is Election Day, and it's not just for Mayor-elect Lightfoot. You've got a lot of local races, mayors, village boards, school boards. Hello. Referenda, huge bond issues on the ballot in Winnetka, in Hinsdale, property tax increase in Oswego 208. We've discussed some of these and more. Hinsdale District 86 continues to be the most contentious because they continue going out for bond issues, losing, and then coming back for another bond issue, does the school district.
And there's no limit to how many times they could try, right?
No, and they've also mastered the art of the extortion for your money, extortion for liquidation of your home that is now being replicated by other school districts, which is this is Hinsdale District 86, which is you either give us what we want to improve our work environment as we see fit, meaning administrators and teachers, or
we're going to take your sports away?
Yep.
No more Friday night lights? No more swimming, no more cheering, no more band, no more community involvement.
The clubs you like and the sports you like, your kids like, gone. So liquidate your homes, give us that money, or the kids get it. And close to half of the District 86 population really driven by Hinsdale, because there's very different attitudes in the other communities that are part of District 86, Willowbrook, Oakbrook, Burr Ridge. But driven by Hinsdale and the thugs that live in Hinsdale, the cultural Marxists that you can easily identify by the "Hate Has No Home Here" sign in their yard.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's how you know somebody's intolerant when they're talking about their tolerance. It's close. It was close in November, lost. And it'll probably be close again on Tuesday. And to give you a sense of what people are up against, we've talked about this before, right? How gassy was Sarah Sanders being accosted at a restaurant when she's out with her family because she's Trump's spokesman. Ted Cruz being accosted at a restaurant in D.C. while he's out with his wife because, he's a conservative Republican. How about Zach Model? Who? Yeah, Zach Model, a manufacturing executive. His family has a manufacturing concern in Lyons, who's on the village board in Burr Ridge, mayor right now, running for mayor Burr Ridge, and has sort of been leading the anti-property tax increase campaign, the opposition to the referendum, the anti-property tax increase perspective. Also with alternatives for how some improvements could be made to Hinsdale Central and Hinsdale South without having to further decimate property values in the community through property taxation. And so Zach Model, after a candidate for him, is out in his community, and this happens.
What's your plan? No, what's your plan? I'm call the police. My friends are videoing it too because I'm not doing anything to you. Am I doing anything to this fine gentleman who's voting our district right now?
Hi, yes, I'm at Chuck Southern Comfort Barbecue. I'm being harassed and attacked by several people here that might be screaming at me, yelling at me.
So it's hard to hear over Alanis Morissette, but you hear the woman screaming at him, saying this is the man, like publicly in a restaurant, this is the man ruining our district, our school district. And after so much of it, you hear Model calling the police.
Well, yeah, I
because he's being harassed out in public in a restaurant before it gets to more of a confrontation than it already was. So just to give you a sense
the mob
of
mentality. Are you kidding? I mean, they want physical harm against people now?
That is
Come on, guys, get off your chairs. Let's go. Let's get this guy.
Hey.
It sounded like to me.
And I will bet you dollars to donuts that the women screeching at him have "Hate has no home here" signs in their well-appointed yards in Hinsdale. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Zach Model, running for mayor of Burr Ridge and also, running from Hinsdale Housewives, but leading the charge against property tax increases in District 86. Zach, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy. Great to be with you this morning.
So how about a little bit more color on that post-forum confrontation you endured?
Yeah, that was just unreal last night, Well, you talked about people just being weaponized by this issue, and that's what happened. She was trying to even steal my food off my plate, which made me feel exactly like how this tax increase is. They just want to take it right off of our plate here and put it in their own mouth. It's terrible. There is absolutely no reason for this referendum. It is so wasteful. It's so unaffordable. The district, by its own measures, they've admitted they only need, at the most, $42 million for all of the safety upgrades, all the ADA compliance, all of the modernization, everything they want to do to make the pool safe. So why are they asking us for $140 million plus interest? It's almost $200. So the math just doesn't add up. And this behavior that we see where they weaponize people, they weaponize the children. These kids, it started with stealing of signs and online doxing. I mean, it's been one big hate forum on their Facebook page. I don't know why it's not illegal, quite frankly. But now it's spilled over into in public being attacked and harassed. It's just not right. And, I asked these folks, they came up to me when I first came in, they were clearly drunk. And the woman said, "Are you Zach Model? And why are you trying to destroy our district?" I said, "Ma'am, please leave me alone. I'm eating." She walked away. Then about 30 minutes later, her friend came up. That's who you heard on the video. Started screaming at me. She pulled up a stool. She's trying to take food off my plate. She's poking me, screaming at me, and then we called the police. She waits while the police come. They come in there and they get her away, start talking to her, start talking to other women. Now, one of the women in the group had wanted nothing to do with it and was trying to flee. I think it was her birthday. They probably ruined her birthday. And the police held her. But, even when the police were there, the woman tried to come up and take a third bite out of the apple and come and scream at me. The police said, "If you don't get away from them, you're going to be arrested immediately." And they finally left. It was unreal.
Nothing is so scorned as a day-drinking Hinsdale housewife. That's what I find.
I mean, you actually smelled booze on their breath?
Oh, they were spilling their booze in their hand as they were trying to talk to me. It was pretty clear what they've been doing. I think they were there for a birthday party.
I don't like when people take food off a plate. I can't believe she had the audacity to take food. What kind of food did she take off your plate? Well, that's so weird.
Give me
That's your
French
personal
fry. Give me a
space.
French fry.
She took a French fry?
Well,
off with her head.
She was attempting to, yes. Unbelievable.
Don't touch my fries.
Look, what you had to eat last night is fascinating, but if we could get back to District 86 a little bit, just give us the particulars on this bond issue. The argument that the teachers union and the proponents are making, and that the argument you're making, as you started to, with the disparity between what they say they need and what they're asking for.
Well, sure. They're claiming this is for safety and security upgrades, but their own literature says that they will spend, I think it's around $5 million. It's under $10 million on safety and security. So there's a huge disparity in what they're going to spend on that and then the ask. But if you look at the actual punch list of the referendum items, they're spending on huge wasteful things like pools that are going to be, something between $25 and $40 million. They've got, which we don't need in the area when the pools could be fixed, for $2 to $7 million. And there's plenty of private pools in the area for big events. They've even got things like stage curtains in there for $2 million. I mean, I don't know what these
nice
curtains
stage
do,
curtains.
but $2 million.
Those are nice.
Unbelievable.
Must be nice.
Classrooms, $800 a square foot. Counseling center, $1,000 a square foot. The waste is so unbelievable. We've talked to contractors who build schools all around the state, around the country. They say you should be able to build new schools for under $300 a square foot. This is crazy. You could have 2 whole new schools. So there's a big disconnect, and that's what we're saying. The vote no people, we're not against a referendum. We're against this wasteful, unfair, and unaffordable referendum. And there's 2 schools in the district, and one school, Hinsdale South, always seems to get treated like the ugly stepchild and doesn't get the same curriculum, classes, resources, and opportunities. There are great kids on both sides of this district, and there's kids on both sides of the district that need a little help too. And I don't think any of them are being served. And this bond referendum locks that in.
And isn't there still excess capacity, significant excess capacity at Hinsdale South as compared to actual student enrollment?
That's correct. Hinsdale South was built to hold 2,500 students, and right now there's only 1,500 at it. Now, Hinsdale Central has 2,700, and they're saying it's overcrowded, and they need to build these $800 a square foot classrooms. And what we're saying is, wait a second, most school districts, in fact, every other school district in the state regularly adjusts their attendance boundaries to balance these kind of things because demographics change over the years through a district. So they're always moving the boundary a little bit between multiple schools in the district to kind of balance out the resources. And that's all we're saying. Simply use the existing taxpayer resources wisely before you build new. Fill up the old school before you build new. And then what you need for a referendum might look very different because you're going to have to allocate it between both schools fairly. That's all we're asking for is fair and equal treatment. And it's been turned into this horrible other thing where we're getting harassed and attacked for our views. It's just simply sad. And the school went one step further, as you mentioned. They cut the kids football, sports, honor society. Now, this district brings in, I think this is illegal. It's a quid pro quo. It's voter intimidation. This district brings in $110 million a year for operating budget. And you're telling me they cut 1% of their operating budget, $1.2 million, and said, we've solved the problem. If this referendum doesn't pass, this is what we have to do. That's a joke. And that's the operating budget. The referendum is for facilities. So you're telling me that we're gonna take away the kids' importance of, how about you look at some of the other areas the district spends money, the other 99% of where the district spends money if you need to make some cuts. I'm not against the cuts in efficiency, but why they started with the children, that makes no sense to me.
Because they're tugging at the heartstrings. And they're getting a lot of seniors who are 18 years old to vote. I mean, have you been to vote early? Have you heard about any early voting turnout yet?
Yeah, actually we've seen a very low turnout actually at the polls at the early voting from what we've seen. So, I think they talk a big game and this splashing news to say these kids are voting for the first time, which I'm all for them voting, but hopefully they've had their first paychecks. I think in this case many of them haven't. So I'm glad they're helping me spend my money. I'm always glad to see civic engagement, but I think it's pretty low, even though it's been kind of flashy with that story.
And we've reported on this property taxes and the impact throughout Chicagoland, throughout the state, really, highest property taxes in the nation. But Hinsdale, and I know you live in Burr Ridge, but Hinsdale, as well as the other communities, getting hammered. So, you're like, oh, Hinsdale, these people have all kinds of money. They've got unlimited funds. They can write blank checks. Well, no, that's not true. Not all of them. And more to the point, not all of them want to, even if they could. And so the number of for sale signs in Hinsdale and the prices that they're drawing compared to the prices that were paid for these homes, pretty stark numbers that people are confronting as they contemplate which way to go on this bond issue.
That's right. People in Hinsdale will have their house in the market for sometimes 2 years. It's unbelievable. And the inventory is at an all-time high. People don't want to stay in these high-price, high-tax homes. They come there to raise their family, and after they want to sell it and downsize, it's not a place people stay. And the inventory is just spiking because there's not an appetite for that. And every time they raise taxes, they're claiming if they don't get this tax hike through, the property values will suffer. Well, no, they won't. You are already in a top-rated district in the state. This district is not going to get any more top-rated. Those kids aren't going to get any smarter if we give them $140 million. What you are going to get is higher taxes, and another encumbrance on a property simply lowers the value because the buyer can only afford X amount of dollars, no matter how rich they are. They can afford mortgage, taxes, and their expenses. Now, if you increase one of the categories, you decrease the other ones. No matter how big the buckets are, no matter how much is available, there's only so much in the bucket. So they've limited the pool of buyers who can afford these houses by raising the taxes, and they will further lower their own property values if this tax hike passes.
And I wanted to have you on, too, because look, this is not your day job being a political candidate. So you're an executive at your family's longstanding manufacturing company in Lyons, which is just a whole other thing. You're an employer in the region, too, being treated like this. You're sort of an example of somebody doing what they can do where they can do it, where so many people are fatalistic. I mean, you're not only leading the charge against this property tax increase and the further decimation of property values, you're also running for mayor of Burr Ridge. So what's your perspective as an employer and a manufacturing employer, no less, and an executive when it comes to taking on all of the slings and arrows you take on to run for local offices or get involved in local campaigns?
Yeah, it's been a little bit disappointing, but I'm certainly not going to give up. In fact, we're winning, so I should be excited. I just didn't expect it to be this ugly. I am a manufacturer. I grow things for a living. I employ just under 80 people at all my manufacturing businesses. So I get what it takes to create jobs, and I get how hard it is for most business owners and job creators out there. Oftentimes, they're busy running their businesses. They don't have time to do things. And, I've been involved with my industry association for a long time, chairing the committees there and past chairman. And I hear consistently from people, we've got to do something. They'll pound the table. And I say, well, what are you going to do? Because if you're complaining about your property taxes, the biggest issue is typically somewhere in your school districts. Go to the school board meetings, get involved. So I'm trying to walk the walk and not just talk the talk, show people how to make a difference and make it better. I am listening to what the school board is doing, and I'm saying enough is enough with this garbage here. So I encourage other people to do that and get involved. And yes, too, I'm running for village president in Burr Ridge, which, again, you don't always pick. Had I had a choice, I would not be having a village president race and running against a referendum at the same time. But, in politics, the train stops at the station. You get on when the doors open. You don't set the schedule. So the opportunity was here, and I'm here to do the right thing. That's what's important to me in Burr Ridge, in my family business, and whatever I do. I've always tried to make sure we're doing the right thing, we're being accountable, we're being prudent and planning and thinking for the future, because I think that's the way to get ahead. When you have a plan and you think prudently and plan for all the options, you can get ahead.
I've known Zach for a few years now. We had him on the local show we used to do, focused on Illinois politics and policy routinely, just to talk about business climate and business policy. Super sharp young guy, providing leadership into the vacuum, jumping into the breach where few will go. And I got to tell you, Burr Ridge on Tuesday, you're nuts not to vote for Zach Model. And in District 86, whether you're in Burr Ridge or Hinsdale or Willowbrook or Oak Brook, you're nuts to vote for that bond issue. Vote no on District 86 bond issue, home equity grab, really. And yes, for Zach Model and Burr Ridge, as far as I'm concerned. Zach, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amy. You two have a great day. Great to be with you all.
Good luck Tuesday. And he joined us on our Turnkey.Pro answer line.
God, I love these fries. If you love them so much, why don't you marry them? Can I have some? Sure, Cindy, go ahead. Oh, God, these are good. Cindy, can you leave some for us?
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Latoria Brothers Construction Company is a proud sponsor of AM 560 and Food for the Poor. Turn to Latoria Brothers Construction Company for all your commercial, industrial, or retail construction needs. New construction, renovations, interior remodeling, facility expansions, and tenant owner build-outs. Latoria Brothers Construction Company has you covered from start to finish. From design concept through construction completion, Latoria Brothers offers a single-source proactive approach. Their family has been providing a high level of excellence in service, reliability, and experience since 1948. Latoria Brothers. They'll modify services to accommodate your construction needs no matter what size and scope. Consulting, design, build, construction management, general contracting. Achieve your vision and dream for your facility. Save time and money. Make Latoria Brothers part of your construction team. Quality workmanship on time, on budget. Visit LatoriaConstruction.com or call 630-766-3036. Latoria Brothers. Shaking hands, not fists.
I have MyPillow products all over the home. MyPillows, and then, of course, the MyPillow pet bed, the mattress topper. Recently purchased the Giza sheets. Giza's grown from the softest cotton that's near the Nile River in the Mediterranean. It's ultra soft, breathable, extremely durable, and it includes full 21-inch wide pillowcases that fit any pillow and deep pocket sheets that fit any mattress. And once you sleep on them, trust me, you will not want to sleep on anything else. They are the real deal. They look good, feel great, which means a better night's sleep. And you can still get the MyPillow 4-pack offer, plus 30% off those pet beds and the mattress toppers. Now, to get the Giza sheet 30% off, plus free shipping, go to MyPillow.com. You have to type Amy in that promo code AMY, and then voila, 30% off your entire order, plus free shipping. MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, Do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-700-1368. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-700-1368. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-700-1368. 1-800-700-1368.
So how are Peyton and Eli, those young men, enjoying Tiege Hanley's skincare product?
Well, they actually have a line for acne, adult acne or, adolescent acne. And it's so far so good. It's really working. I don't think ever, though, that my boys actually wash their face. So the fact that they're washing their faces with that product and then putting on the moisturizer, it's going well.
Yeah.
And he told me it might take a week or two, but it's after a few days it's working on their acne.
Right. We're barbarians. That's why women need to civilize us. We're savages, so we don't take care of our skin. And that's where Tiege Hanley comes in with daily moisturizing, one with SPF, no less, for adults thinking about a little bit of melanoma protection when you're on the course. It's always a good idea. Tiege Hanley is helping men do something smart about their skincare, myself included, even though I am fortunate to have porcelain skin. I'm like a China doll.
Yeah.
However, still enjoying the skincare system from Tiege Hanley. They're right here in Chicago. They're doing, as I said, something about how men think about and treat their skin. Started by 4 guys who know how guys think. Simple, affordable, effective. You get all the products you need for your daily care regimen shipped directly to your door, so there's no shopping. Also, no hidden fees or inflated costs. You can choose from 3 skincare systems. Each include a wash, scrub, and moisturizers with SPF 20, as I said. Right now, go to Tiege.com/DanProft. Use the promo code Dan and the number 20, Dan20, and check out for 20% off your first box. 20% break if you use the promo code Dan20. Tiege.com, TIEGE.com/DanProft. And again, the promo code Dan20.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, you won't want to meet this, or not meet. You're going to want to listen to our next guest, Laura Logan.
Yes. Chris Cuomo asked, what wrong facts did CNN report? Well, we'll discuss those wrong facts with Laura Logan at 8:08.
But first, let's head straight into the newsroom. Perry Williams filling in today and for the rest of the week for one Mike Scott. Good morning. Good morning, Perry. Yeah, it's morning.
Good morning, Amy. Here's some of the stories we're following. Cook County State's Attorney Kimberly Fox says Empire actor Jussie Smollett did not get special treatment from her office and a new type of driver's license or ID cards available in Illinois. It's 8 o'clock, WIND Chicago.
With the Mueller defense done, President Trump wants to go on offense. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The president says it's time to go after some of the people who've accused him of colluding with the Russian government to get elected. At the White House, Fox's John Decker.
President Trump complaining to Sean Hannity on Fox News that special counsel Robert Mueller's nearly 2-year investigation was one-sided and did not focus on actions committed by Democrats. The president tweeting this morning about the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, writing, Congressman Adam Schiff, who spent 2 years knowingly and unlawfully lying and leaking, should be forced to resign from Congress. Chris?
John, the president in that interview also called former FBI Director James Comey a terrible guy. Comey says the Mueller report will show that the agency acted honorably.
It establishes, I hope, to all people, no matter where they are on the spectrum, that the FBI is not corrupt, not a nest of vipers and spies, but an honest group of people trying to find out what is true.
He spoke to NBC News. Facebook is accused by the Department of Housing and Urban Development of violating the Fair Housing Act by allowing users' demographics to determine who can see housing advertisements. HUD Secretary Ben Carson tells Fox Business Network,
advertisers have the ability to say, I only want to advertise to women. I only want to advertise to non-Christians. You know, this kind of information most people don't know, has been gathered on them, and we want to make sure it is not used in an inappropriate way.
Facebook says it is surprised by the decision and that it's been working with HUD to address the concerns. The economy slowed down to a 2.2% growth rate in the fourth quarter of last year. That was just reported by the Commerce Department. And somebody's rich. There was one winning Powerball ticket sold in New Berlin, Wisconsin. The jackpot was up to $768 million. This is Fox News.
Good morning. Mostly cloudy skies, and it's 50 degrees in Chicago at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. I'm Perry Williams. Cook County State's Attorney Kimberly Fox says Empire actor Jussie Smollett did not get special treatment from her office. Fox told NBC Chicago she played no role in the controversial decision to drop all the charges in the case. After her recusal, reports surfaced that Fox had tried to persuade Chicago police to turn the case over to the FBI. Fox said Smollett was afforded the same opportunity that anyone in Cook County would get for a nonviolent offense.
He was availed to an alternative prosecution model that anybody else without his riches, without his fame, were also availed to.
Mayor Emanuel called the decision to toss out the charges against the actor a whitewash of justice. In other news, health officials are warning people about a confirmed case of the measles in Cook County. The Department of Public Health released a list of 16 locations in the northern suburbs and downtown Chicago that the infected person visited before the illness was discovered. They include a high school in Deerfield, a fitness center in Glencoe, a restaurant and theater in Chicago, and grocery stores in Northbrook and Niles. The person is no longer infectious, but may have exposed others before realizing they were sick. A new type of driver's license or ID card is available in Illinois. The Real ID was introduced by the Illinois Secretary of State, Jussie White, yesterday in Springfield. The new ID meets federal guidelines, allowing the holder to board planes for U.S. travel or to enter secure federal facilities. Passengers must have either the Real ID or a passport to fly starting in October 2020. In sports news, Seth Curry poured in a team-high 20 points off the bench to help the Trailblazers beat the Bulls 118-98 at the UC. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network. Here's Jenny Cosola.
From the Fox Business Network, Walgreens will sell cannabis-based treatments in nearly 1,500 stores in 9 states. USA Today says the products include CBD creams, patches, and sprays. CBD is an ingredient derived from a cousin of the marijuana plant, hemp. It has almost none of the psychoactive compounds that cause a user to get high. It is no longer a controlled substance. CVS introduced CBD-containing products to stores in 7 states earlier this month. Office Depot has agreed to pay a $25 million fine to settle allegations that trick customers into buying unnecessary expensive computer repairs. Its software supplier Support.com will pay $10 million. The FTC says Office Depot offered a free PC checkup, which claimed it found malware and it recommended services that cost hundreds of dollars. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
At 8:06 from the AM 560 News Time is 8:06. Where are the cars this morning? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Respectfully, if you can pull your head out of your Trump love right now.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The President of the United States should not be attacking a dead man. There's just got to be a certain level of decency that we expect from our president. If you want Trump to win in 2020, this kind of crap is going to kill it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights, starting at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey guys, Ken here from the award-winning podcast Today's Growth. If you had to choose sides, which camp would you rather be in? Would you rather have time and no money, or money and no time? Did you know that 95% of U.S. adults by choice have settled into these categories? Much more interesting is that 1 out of 20 people have built their life around achieving simultaneous control of both time and money. What choices did these 5% make that the others didn't? My friends at Income Store have shown both households and businesses how to build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams for the express purpose of gaining control of time. When it comes to helping folks create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. Patriot Software provides cloud-based accounting software that is super easy for business owners and powerful enough for accountants. With Patriot's accounting software, business owners can easily invoice customers, receive payments, pay bills, and track the money in and out of their company without needing a college degree in accounting. And with Patriot Software's patent-pending cash-to-accrual toggle switch, the business's accountant can log in, view the books, and make complex entries to ensure the business has accurate financial statements. Easy but powerful. Everybody wins. Go to PatriotSoftware.com, use promo code RADIO, and get 2 months of accounting software free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
At 8:06 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
The inbound ride is a mess after an earlier crash just past the burn circle at Jackson on the outbound Kennedy. Looking at an hour and 10 minutes from 95th to downtown. The big jam starts around 59th Street. The outbound side is okay. On the Kennedy, inbound delays start at Montrose, 54 minutes now. O'Hare to downtown. 44 from Montrose, 37 on the Express. Outbound 25 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, 57 minutes, 390 to downtown. 44 from Manheim. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to the drive. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 425. Tollways are mostly live, but the northbound Tri-State has stop-and-go traffic. Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. It's traffic. I'm Chip Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Today and tonight, cloudy with a brief shower or two. The high today 59, low tonight 39. Clouds and cool tomorrow, some occasional rain for the afternoon. High tomorrow near 46. Morning rain or snow shower on Saturday. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 8:30. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. How much of a media reckoning has there been over the last few days in light of the contents of the Barr letter summarizing the Mueller report? Well, we've heard from some who are anything but Trump apologists, like Glenn Greenwald, the founder of The Intercept, the Snowden whisperer, who had this to say earlier in the week opposite Dave K. Johnson of the New York Times on democracy now! Exclamation point.
This is the saddest media spectacle I've ever seen since I began practicing journalism in 2005. And what makes it even sadder is to watch all of the people who vested their journalistic credibility into what proved to be a complete and total fraud and scam.
And Greenwald said it's time to give it up.
It's time to face the truth. The media got this story wrong. They obsessed on this for 3 years, and all this time there was no evidence for it. It was just a conspiracy theory. Rachel Maddow, the most influential liberal TV host in the country, every single night misled millions of liberals into believing something that was totally false, and there will be no media consequences for it. And that is extremely grave and serious, no matter how much is true about how corrupt Donald Trump is in his financial dealings or any of the other stuff that people are now trying to deflect our attention onto.
Matt Taibbi, who's a writer for Rolling Stone, wrote a book called Insane Clown President about Trump, had an extensive piece very much in the vein of Glenn Greenwald's comments, talking about the Mueller investigation, Russian collusion coverage being the WMDs of this generation, WMD story of this generation. And so that's against the backdrop of, okay, well, how are the leading networks going to respond who've been prosecuting the case, as Greenwald mentioned, Matt out at MSNBC. Jeff Zucker saying, hey, look, stand by all our coverage. We're not investigators, we're reporters. Now, that's despite the show. There's a show on CNN called CNN Investigates. Okay.
Right, there is. Yeah.
And also sort of being a reporter necessarily includes investigating things. So the parsing of words is entertaining, as was this exchange between Chris Cuomo and Wisconsin Republican Congressman Sean Duffy yesterday.
That there's Russia collusion. You were telling me that I had to present the fact, the bottom line, that there was no collusion, that it was our responsibility to defend him.
Behavior by people around the president that qualifies as collusion. Collusion's not a crime. It's a behavior. You should know that.
But collusion with Russia didn't exist, and it was reported out for 2 years. And
Mueller says he couldn't make a criminal case that any of those people helped the Russians interfere.
And Duffy goes on to suggest that CNN reported wrong facts. Cuomo asks, quote, what wrong facts did we put out? I mean, seriously, you don't know?
Oh, my goodness.
We talked about them. We've talked about them a number of times. As they happened, the report on Scaramucci, CNN, that he had ties to a $10 billion Russian investment fund owned by a Kremlin-connected bank that was retracted because it wasn't true. 3 CNN staffers resigned as a result. CNN forced to issue an on-air correction after it claimed the Trump campaign received advance notice during the 2016 presidential election of WikiLeaks' plans to dump thousands of hacked emails belonging to DNC staffers and Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. They'd retract that. Donald Trump Jr. got these emails before they were public, except that wasn't true. In 2018, CNN national security correspondent Jim Sciutto reported incorrectly General Curtis Scaparrotti, the commander of the European Command and NATO Supreme Allied Commander, said he doesn't believe there's an effective U.S. response to Russian cyber threats. Scaparrotti never said such a thing. Michael Cohen, that Trump knew in advance about the June 2016 meeting at Trump Tower in which Russians were expected to offer his campaign dirt on Hillary Clinton. Lanny Davis, representing Michael Cohen, said that was false. And on and on and on. And I guess, per Chris Cuomo, complete obliviousness to anything CNN has reported that turned out not to be true, it will continue to go on and on and on. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined again by Lara Logan, former CBS News foreign correspondent. You remember her, of course, for, but at least in part, the story she filed as a correspondent for 60 Minutes as well. Lara, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good morning.
So what about the reactions from your colleagues and former colleagues of all the way from sort of Glenn Greenwald and Matt Taibbi in one camp, and then Jeff Zucker and everybody at CNN and MSNBC in the other?
Well, I'm a little shocked, I got to say, because I didn't expect that, a whole, the swath of mainstream media who constantly beat the drum of collusion would stand up and take responsibility for what they did. But I didn't expect absolute, complete denial. That's somewhat stunning to me. And when, it's really shocking to hear Cuomo say, what did we get wrong? What did we get wrong? It's like, it's more, what did you get right? What did you actually get right? And I want to say 2 things that I think are really critical here. Glenn Greenwald says this is the WMD of this generation. I got to say to you, I don't agree with that, because knowing whether or not Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction was almost impossible for any journalist. How are you going to get that information? If the weapons inspectors couldn't come up with a definitive conclusion, how could you? Do you know what I mean? As a journalist, we have responsibility to investigate. I really don't care what Jeff Zucker says. I'm absolutely stunned to hear that. We're not investigators. We're journalists. That's right. We're journalists. And part of our job, we have a duty and a responsibility to find out what the facts are. Just because somebody says something and they have a title behind them, or you give them anonymity, but they used to have a big title that you think covers you, doesn't mean you just put it out there. If you interview people and they say horrible, shocking, racist, hateful things, you don't put them on television. Mm-hmm. If there's no real justification for them to say that, if it's illegitimate, you don't put it out there. you're not a megaphone for the worst in humanity. And I feel like the media has been a megaphone for the very, very worst of the political establishment in this country for years. WMD did not go on for years, and it was almost unknowable for any decent, reasonable journalist to find out and confirm. This was not unknowable. There are 400 million different examples of how you could have shot holes in this narrative just by asking a few basic questions. And I'll give you one quick example. General Mike Flynn, President Donald Trump's first pick as National Security Advisor. Why was it so important to destroy Mike Flynn and target him first and get rid of him? Because he was Trump's cleaner. Remember Harvey Keitel in the Quentin Tarantino movie?
Sure, Mr.
Comes in and cleans up the mess.
Right.
That was what Mike Flynn's job was. He was going to clean up the mess that the United States intelligence agencies had become under previous administrations. He was the guy who knew and was going to hold people accountable for not just misusing their power, but for breaking the law, using the powers of surveillance that this country designed to protect itself from its enemies, its foreign enemies, using that against American citizens, which is illegal, even though the behavior has been normalized by the press. So you say this to people, and they say, oh, don't we always spy on political candidates during our elections? No, we don't. It's a crime. They spied on Bernie Sanders. They spied on Mike McCall. They spied on Lindsey Graham. They didn't just spy on Trump and Carter Page and people in the Trump campaign because they thought he was guilty of collusion, which, by the way, is not a crime. And I'm glad to hear Chris Cuomo say that. But I'm curious to know, why is he only saying it now that the Mueller report is out? Why wasn't Chris Cuomo and the rest of the media saying, hey, what are we actually investigating here? Because collusion isn't a crime. Conspiracy is, but no one's talking about conspiracy. And one of the best things that Glenn Greenwald said, in my professional opinion as a journalist, is when he said, that this is really a failure of journalism on an epic scale. It's a failure not because it was unknowable or impossible to verify. It's a failure because we could have verified almost all of it, and we never even tried.
Well, why do you think Democrats were so confident based on their information that there was evidence of collusion?
So, here we get into the field, of analysis and opinion, right? Because I don't know 100%. I can't tell you I sat down with Media Matters for America, the most powerful propaganda organization in this country, that flies the flag for the progressive movement and have hijacked what it means to be liberal and Democrat and on the left, right? I wasn't in their meetings. I've seen some of their strategic documents which say that they will resist the normalization of Trump in every single form. That he is not the president who was elected to change this country. And you don't have to go far. Find anyone who voted for Trump. 99% of them have said to me, we voted for change, to change the establishment, the political establishment, get rid of not just the establishment on the left, but on the right as well. So organizations like Media Matters for America, they have made it it is their mission and their work, and they're extremely well funded, and they have an army of propagandists working for them, and they have an army of journalists across the spectrum in the mainstream media who work hand in hand with them, who parrot out their talking points, who silence and target other people. That you hear this term all the time now, the weaponization of information. Why are civilian politicians and journalists talking about this? Because, again, they're normalizing the behavior. This is what they do. They're weaponizing information to use it as a propaganda tool. They're not acting as journalists. Too many of us have become political operatives and activists, and the greatest collusion that I've seen has been between journalists and propaganda organizations who who do not represent people across this country in spite of what they say, who are not interested in good journalism in spite of what they say. They're interested in silencing journalists like Glenn Greenwald and myself and Ted Koppel, by the way, of ABC, right, who came out and said exactly the same thing. When Trump says the establishment media is against him, he's absolutely right. And that's why they don't want him to use his Twitter account. Not because they object to everything he tweets, but because they want the weapons of information warfare. Remember, they're the ones who talk about weaponization of information. They want to be the only ones who hold those weapons. They don't want anyone else to have them. And look what they're doing with the tech companies. Google, Facebook, all of these people, they should be ashamed of themselves, because I don't see them doing a whole lot of silencing of people who say that they think every white male in this country should be hanged and drawn and quartered and tortured, and that they're responsible for everything. I mean, for goodness sake, Don Lemon, as he's now calling himself, he said that white men are a greater terrorist threat than Islamic terrorism. Show me the armies across the world who are fighting armies of white men from America, trying to change the entire world order and to gain absolute power. Show me those armies. Perhaps, just maybe think for a moment that the incidence of Islamic terrorism in this country would be much higher if we didn't have the United States deployed in Syria, Iraq, the Philippines, I mean, Mali, West Africa, and how many other nations, how many other governments are fighting that threat. It's ludicrous to cherry-pick these figures and take, nonsense research from nonsense organizations that are pushing a political agenda and pretending that it's something else. As journalists, your job is to think about the context and to challenge and to criticize. And by the way, to know what the law says, because it's really not that hard.
Context and consequence, those are two watchwords I use all the time. I wanted to go back to something else you said, another watchword, analysis. And one of the things we got over and over again was Trump's not acting like he's innocent. If he was innocent of these allegations against him, he would just let Mueller quietly do his job.
I'm sorry.
And
I can't even contain myself. That makes me so, it just bothers me so much. That is not analysis. And that is opinion.
Well, right.
And it's a very subjective, pejorative opinion. And you know what? It's even worse than that. It's guesswork because they have no idea. I don't believe anything that I have read about this president. Nobody was there in his head. We were told he has the intelligence of a sixth grader. Really? He's the only real estate developer that I know of whose name is known all over this world and was known before he campaigned for president. Can he really be that dumb? How credible is that? How can you put people on television saying that when you haven't even really examined the merits of whether that could be true or not?
Well, and I just want to add something to that. I agree with that. That's right, that opinion and the analysis of that opinion. But also something Rich Lowry wrote in a piece this week, too, about, their projecting onto Trump what he is or isn't, what's going on in his mind, as you're suggesting, based on his behavior. Rich Lowry just said, it's very easy to be relaxed about someone else's reputation. And that's something else that seems to be a recurring characteristic of the D.C. press corps. They're very relaxed about someone else's reputation when it's not a fellow traveler.
Well, you know what? I would say it's much worse than that. I got to be honest. I think you're giving them all a free pass because they're not just being careless with someone else's reputation. It's a political assassination is what it is. The stated objective of Media Matters for America, their propaganda organization, is to ensure that Trump is removed from office through impeachment or through the ballot box. They really don't care about reputation or the truth or good journalism or anything else. They have a political agenda, and they will stop at nothing to see that that agenda is effective and successful. And if you look at their strategy, all of the things, they say they're going to keep this president bogged down in legal challenges. They've overtaken an organization called Crew, which was supposed to be a bipartisan media watchdog organization that has launched dozens and dozens and dozens, more than 100, if not hundreds of lawsuits against this president, challenging everything that he does, challenging the administration, making sure that they do everything they can to cripple them and prevent them from doing their jobs and carrying out effective policy. They said that they will keep a constant drumbeat of news about cronyism and corruption and bad business dealings and, I mean, you name it. There's not a thing that you've heard reported about President Trump that they don't have in their strategic propaganda documents. Okay, and why is no one in the media questioning any of this in the mainstream media? Why are we so happy to beat that drum and all sing from the same hymn sheet and say things that we absolutely know are unknowable? We don't challenge our sources. We don't look at their motivations. We don't try and explain that. And I'll tell you why I say this, and I believe it so strongly. Because when you look at the journalism, you gave a few examples, right? Go to Cheryl Atkinson's website.
Yeah.
People say to you, oh, don't look at Cheryl. She's right-wing. Cheryl is one of the finest journalists that I have ever known, and she was at CBS with me for years and years. She's got a running list that's more than 70 examples of terrible, dishonest, non-factual reporting by the media on Trump. And there are many more examples out there. One that she uses that, I was shocked by at the time was the bust of Martin Luther King being removed from the White House by Trump. Yeah. All the reporter had to do was actually ask the White House if it was there because it was obscured by the door. But he didn't even do that. And It was reproduced all across the media. None of those other journalists asked either. And something even much more significant than that. You talked about throwing away people's reputations. Look at General Mike Flynn. Okay, that man was a 3-star general who was decorated as far back as Grenada when he leapt off a cliff to rescue 2 United States servicemen who were being washed out to sea. Okay, this is a man who gave up all of his life to represent his country. And they get away with calling him a traitor, but they also get away with reporting the most ridiculous nonsense ever, that he, as the top intelligence official in this country, the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, that he was vulnerable to being blackmailed by the Russians. Okay, every red flag in my body is screaming when I hear those words, because as the top intelligence official in this country, Mike Flynn knows better than anybody else that every foreign diplomat on American soil is monitored by the CIA. That is one of the reasons the CIA exists, okay? And you know what? Foreign governments use their spy agencies to do the same thing to our diplomats, to American diplomats on their soil. That is standard spycraft. Anyone calling themselves a national security reporter or anything like that who didn't report that at the time should either be fired or is just so incompetent they don't have the right to have that profile. And the other part of it is that counterintelligence, they investigate every senior American official dealing with foreign ambassadors and foreign representatives. So Mike Flynn knows those things very well. If counterintelligence and the CIA have transcripts of his conversations, what can the Russians blackmail him about? Who actually asked that question? It's unforgivable that we don't ask these questions. It's a dereliction of our duty as journalists. And you don't have to look very far to find what the law says. The law says the president cannot leak. The law says the president, the commander-in-chief, not just Donald Trump, but every president this country's ever had, that one person in the act of speaking something is an act of declassification. So when you read frenzied, hysterical headlines about the president leaking to the Russians in the Oval Office, you got to know, as a decent journalist, that that's not true. That's hype and spin and political propaganda, because the president cannot leak. When Obama announced that SEAL Team 6 killed Osama bin Laden, that was an act of declassification, because no United States government official had ever officially on the record acknowledged the existence of SEAL Team 6. They're a Tier 1 organization, Black Special Ops, and we officially, as a country, don't acknowledge their existence. Until that moment, no one accused Obama of leaking that, nor did they accuse, Ronald Reagan of leaking that the LRO, the reconnaissance organization, is one of the most clandestine facilities that this country has ever had, that most people don't know exists. He announced its existence and its location at a press conference in the 1980s. No one accused him of leaking. It's only this president gets accused of leaking.
Laura,
and it doesn't matter what my feelings are. That's a problem.
Laura, I'll tell you, I mean, you're not going to get a more substantive rip-roaring review than that. This is great. I wish we could just turn over the mics to you for the next half hour. Unfortunately, we can't. Laura Logan, former CBS News foreign correspondent, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it, and look forward to having you on again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
My name is David Hochberg at Team Hochberg. If you're purchasing a home, please listen to this important message. Other mortgage brokers advertise about getting pre-approved to purchase a home, even though they know pre-approvals are worthless. They're worthless because you can't purchase a home with a pre-approval letter. But you can purchase a home with a Team Hochberg approval letter. Team Hochberg will underwrite and approve your loan before you meet with a realtor. You'll know exactly what you can afford, and you can close within 14 business days of signing a contract. If you want to secure a pre-approval letter you can't use to purchase a home, call the other guys. If you're interested in securing an approval to purchase a home, call the local mortgage experts on Team Hochberg now at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID. That's 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com.
Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 66761019, NMLS 1124061.
AM 560, The Answer.
Very impressive.
I'm still trying to recover from Laura Logan. That was awesome. That was a tour de force. Coming up at 8:38, we've got another tour de force. Double-barreled action on Chicago's Morning Answer. Andrew Clavin joins us at 8:38.
And later, what it's like when a local TV station tries to be hip and cool with the kids. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Perry Williams in for Mike Scott.
Good morning. Mostly cloudy skies, and it's 49 degrees in Chicago at 8:30 on AM 560 The Answer. President Trump says the FBI and the Justice Department are going to review what he calls the outrageous Jussie Smollett case in Chicago. He tweeted this morning that has been an embarrassment to our nation. Also this morning, Smollett's lawyer, Tina Gladian, told NBC's Today Show she's not worried about an investigation.
We have nothing to be concerned about because there was nothing on our end to request this, to do anything improper, and to my knowledge, nothing improper was done.
Cook County authorities dismissed all 16 counts related to lying to police this week after Smollett performed community service and forfeited his $10,000 bond. He was accused of staging a racist and homophobic attack against himself in January, blaming it on two men wearing MAGA hats. In other news, family and friends will gather today to remember the Chicago police officer killed this past weekend. Officer John Rivera was off duty when he was shot early Saturday while sitting in his vehicle in the River North neighborhood. His visitation starts this afternoon at Elmwood Chapel in Chicago's East Side neighborhood, with his funeral to be held tomorrow morning at the chapel. A state representative is proposing a bill that would allow school children to anonymously report bullying. John Cabello created the bill aimed at addressing bullying problems in Illinois schools. DCFS would answer the toll-free child abuse hotline and provide callers with guidance on how to handle the situation, and would give the anonymous report to the superintendent or administrator of the school. In sports news, the Cubs and White Sox open the 2019 season today. John Lester takes the mound for the Northsiders in Texas against the Rangers, and Carlos Rodon makes his first career opening day start for the Southsiders against the Royals in Kansas City. This news report is sponsored by Staples. Staples has the supplies you need to run your business like a boss. This week, buy one HP Office Jet Pro Ink cartridge and get a second 30% off, so you can stock up and save. Offer ends March 30th. Restrictions apply. See store associate or staples.com/HPBOGO for details. Staples. AM 560 news time is 8:33. Where are the cars this morning? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
The following statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Amberen trials tested mild to moderate symptoms. Testimonial is based on 90 days of use. Results may vary. Nielsen US XAOC 52 weeks dollar sales.
Hi, I'm Mary Lou Retton, and I want to talk to you about something I haven't liked to talk about until now, my menopause. All my life, I've had energy to win gold in '84. But when menopause hit me, with the hot flashes and the night sweats, I began to feel sluggish every day. That all changed when I discovered Amberen.
Amberen safely relieves 12 menopause symptoms by helping to restore your hormonal balance. Amberen is 100% drug-free and estrogen-free. Amberen is America's #1 menopause relief supplement in dollar sales.
Thanks to Amberen, my fear of hot flashes is gone. My sheets aren't soaked every night, and my energy is back. Give Amberen a try and see what it can do for you. It works. It really works.
Hurry to your Walmart, Walgreens, Target, and other fine retailers nationwide and get Amberen today.
On April 5th, don't miss The Best of Enemies, starring Academy Award nominee Taraji P. Henson.
I play Ann Atwater, a civil rights activist who was able to approach hate with love.
And Academy Award winner Sam Rockwell.
All the better is you don't get in my way.
Well, I'm gonna get in your way.
If you change one heart, you can change the world.
I had a revival.
And then you ought to know, same God made you, made me.
The Best of Enemies, based on the untold true story. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters April 5th.
Do you own or run a thriving business in the Chicagoland area? Have you overcome obstacles to make your business what it is today? If that's your business, then AM 560 wants to tell your story on the AM 560 Business Tour, presented by Signature Bank. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses all around Chicagoland, telling success stories of thriving, successful businesses. Hey, if that's you, tell us about it. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
When you need heavy equipment to complete challenging projects such as site preparation, utility and sewer, material handling, agricultural, recycling, or commercial snow removal, you just can't beat the price, power, and performance of Hyundai construction equipment from Harding's Heavy Equipment. The Harding family offers sincere individual customer service for heavy equipment to rent or purchase since 1916. Plus, they deliver right to your job site and have trained technicians to take care of the maintenance requirements of all your equipment. Harding's Heavy Equipment is in the business of building relationships with their customers. That's what it's all about. A community business with top quality individual attention and service for over 100 years. When your project needs the reliability and power of Hyundai equipment, work with a true business partner that will be with you after the sale. Call Harding's Heavy Equipment for information and price specials on the Hyundai 5x5 and Edge lease programs. Available for a limited time. Call 219-696-8911 or online at hardingsinc.com.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
At 8:37 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
The inbound line is in recovery mode after an earlier crash on the outbound Kennedy at Jackson. Stop and go from 59th all the way in. 45 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 15. Inbound Bishop Ford has just a 1 minute delay. Cottage Grove to the merge. And I-57 is clear. Eden's delay-free. Kennedy, now 56 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 46 from Montrose, 42 in the Express. The Eisenhower, 45 minutes, 390 to downtown, 30 from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. On the Tri-State, delays are northbound from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The other tollways look good right now. No delays to report on I-80 or in Northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Clouds today and tonight, a brief shower or two. The high today 59, low tonight 39. Occasional rain tomorrow, high 46. A morning rain or snow shower on Saturday, otherwise cloudy, and a high 42. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 9 o'clock. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Making America Great Again with no apologies. Join me, Sebastian Gorka, for America First tonight at 10 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, you want to hear from Jim Comey. You don't want him to ever go away, do you?
No, he reminds me of a high school drama because he's so, takes pictures of himself, so picturesque in the woods with captions that say so many questions in regards to the Mueller report. He's just very self-serving and very fragile. I still think that interview he did with Lester Holt last night, he still seems injured. Like he's a little, his Indian name would be Injured Bird.
Well, it was nice that Lester Holt was able to get him out of the woods and back into civilization to answer some questions about the Mueller report, get his reaction as one of the leading critics, along with former CIA Director John Brennan, former DNI James Clapper, and then obviously the entire D.C. press corps that were spinning conspiracy theories about the Russian collusion investigation from the beginning. And frankly, to their credit, they're consistent. They continued to spin those same conspiracy theories, and they've just added a layer. Bill Barr's involved now, or they're offering very creative interpretations of every word in the Barr summary letter, as Jim Comey did when he sat down with Lester Holt. The one thing that's clear, though, to Jim Comey from the Barr letter, one thing that's clear is he and his colleagues at the senior levels of the FBI have been exonerated.
No, I actually see it the other way. It establishes, I hope, to all people, no matter where they are on the spectrum, that the FBI is not corrupt, not a nest of vipers and spies, but an honest group of people trying to find out what is true. And that's what you see here. And that's why it'll be important to read the entire report. But based on what I've seen, this is a good thing.
Although he couldn't hide his disappointment that Mueller didn't conclude that President Trump had obstructed justice, made no conclusion on that topic. He wasn't indignant. He wasn't criticizing Mueller for failing his job as a prosecutor the way that Dershowitz did. He was just, sad.
The idea that a special counsel wouldn't reach the question and hand it to the political leadership doesn't make sense. I'm not prejudging it. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense on its face.
And then to Trump's witch hunt characterization of the investigation for months and months on end, as it continued for months and months on end. Should have never been this investigation. Jim Comey responded with a fictional analogy.
Close your eyes. Again, change the names. Let me make one up for you. The Iranians, this is totally made up, the Iranians interfere in the election to help elect Barack Obama because they think they'll get a better nuclear deal from him. And during that election, an Obama aide meets with the Iranians and talks about the dirt they have that will help Obama get elected. And the FBI finds out about that. We should not investigate that? And then President Obama's national security advisor lies to the FBI about his contacts with the Iranians. And then the president, Obama, asked me to drop an investigation of that and then fires me and says, I was thinking of the Iranian thing. And then he invites the mullahs to the Oval Office and tells them that FBI director was a real nut job. I lifted a lot of pressure by firing him. Who on earth doesn't think the FBI should investigate that?
All right. For more on this, we need somebody with creative chops, at least as good as Jim Comey. And we've got that person in Hollywood screenwriter Andrew Klavan. His podcast, Another Kingdom, is in season 2. Of course, also, if you haven't seen it yet, see the movie that he wrote, Gosnell, The Trial of America's Biggest Serial Killer. He wrote the screenplay. Andrew Klavan, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You're too kind to compare my creative abilities to James Comey's, I think.
Yeah, I thought you would appreciate that compliment. So what about his analogy as the basis to justify everything that has transpired with respect to Mueller's investigation over the last 2 years?
If that had happened and he had investigated, bugged people in the Obama campaign when Obama was running against George W. Bush on the basis of Oppo research from George W. Bush, the press itself would have taken him out, tarred and feathered him, and thrown him in the Potomac, and then pelted his body with stale vegetables as he floated downstream. I think it is a good analogy in the sense that if for just a minute you back off and think about the FBI investigating Obama just on the basis of the things he said, just saying, well, we should spread the wealth around. Oh, my goodness, that sounds like communism. Let's investigate that. If he was hanging out with Bill Ayers, a former terrorist, let's investigate that. If he was going to a Jeremiah Wright's church for 20 years where they were damning America and this guy was trying to infiltrate his way into the top echelons of power in the United States, and James Comey had said, oh, we better tap his phones and investigate that. James Comey would not just be out on his ear. He would be facing prison, as I believe James Comey should. There's just no question about it. This was a conspiracy to take down a president based on Oppo research. It was started on Oppo research and the fact that they didn't like Donald Trump's idea that he could get along with Vladimir Putin. That was basically it. That's what they had. And the idea that a comment here or a comment there was enough to start an FBI investigation into an opposition party's presidential campaign is out of a tin pot dictatorship from South America, not from North America. It's really just appalling that this guy is so surrounded, so swathed in his own sanctimony that he can't see himself in the mirror anymore. This is really, these guys have got to say these things because and the press has got to defend itself because this is really a scandal about the way the Obama administration operated and about the way it was covered by the press. It's not a scandal about the Russian collusion thing. It is a scandal about the fact that for 8 years the press turned a blind eye as Barack Obama transformed the federal government into a Chicago-style Democrat machine, just like we're seeing, in operation in the Jussie Smollett case. And he transformed the IRS into a political tool. He transformed the State Department into a cover-up of his Benghazi malfeasance. He transformed the Justice Department into an investigative arm that infiltrated police departments around the country and finally infiltrated the opposition candidate's campaign. And he did this all while the press went scandal-free, scandal-free, scandal-free. What a wonderful scandal-free administration. That's the thing that is so shocking about this, is how complete the destruction of the American press's credibility is. And, don't mistake me on this, because we need a good press. We need a press that holds powerful people to account, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. But you can have a press that operates like late-night comedy shows and only attacks one side and then suddenly goes dormant when the other party is in power. And that's what we've had, and that's what this scandal is. This is a scandal about the way the Obama administration was covered and the way they reacted when they found that, like Gollum in Lord of the Rings, they were invisible. They were like nobody could see what they were doing. So they thought, oh, well, then we can use the IRS. We can lie through the State Department. We can use the DOJ to investigate people. And they only got caught because Trump, by an incredible fluke, won the election. And that's what's happening. And James Comey can spin that all he wants, but that's the story.
Well, you'd mentioned Jussie Smollett. Of course, it's a huge story here in Chicago, but it's all around the world and the country, I think. What was your reaction when you heard that the charges against him, all 16 counts of disorderly conduct, were dropped?
Well, listen, let me say first that as a city and as people, I love Chicago. I always enjoy being there, and I enjoy the people there. But you guys have got a problem with basically one-party government. Because
what?
Don't tell Dan this. He doesn't know yet.
We're still in the probationary stage, Andrew. It's only been 100 years.
Out here in Hollywood, every single Hollywood conservative I've ever met has been from Chicago. They're all refugees. And they basically say, once you've seen Chicago, you'll never be a Democrat again.
Say hi to David Mamet for us. We miss him.
David Mamet, perfect example. Gary Sinise, Malkovich. I mean, they all came out of there running for their lives. From here, speaking as an outsider, it seems like Democrat versus Democrat. It seems that Kim Foxx, the lady who is now the state attorney, is a wired up, arm of the Obama administration. She was affected by an Obama crony coming to her and saying, go easy on this guy, let him off. It's not just that she let him off. It's that his records vanished from the computers. They're sealed. He's free. In a single leap, Jussie is free. But on the other side, it does strike me that the kind of malfeasance, or at least secretiveness, that went on in Rahm Emanuel's administration in holding back the dash cam video in the Laquan McDonald shooting is what got a lady like Kim Foxx in power in the first place.
Yeah, that's right.
And so you have this completely dysfunctional government only answerable to its own party. And if you don't have two parties in there to keep the other side honest, you're just going to have this Democrat machine. It's what I think has happened in Chicago, and I think that culture is what happened in Washington during the Obama administration.
I've got a physics question for you on the Smollett case. Van Jones said, that when Smollett was indicted, the problem here is that Smollett is an icon. He's a hero. He is to homophobia what Jackie Robinson was to race. And so my question is, how far up your own ass does your head have to be to say something like that?
The sad thing is when that first season of Empire came out, I was absolutely swept away by the great musical talent in it, including Jussie Smollett's talent. But I think one of the things that we're seeing here, hopefully, is that our elites have kind of failed us. And one of the ways they've failed us is by using their celebrity in ways that it shouldn't be used. Because you can sing, because you can dance, because you can act, doesn't mean you know a damn thing about politics. And when you stand in front of a podium with your Oscar in your hand and you tell half the country that they're idiots because they don't think like you better be awfully sure that you've got your own ducks in a row and that you really know what you're talking about and that your own life doesn't bear examining. I mean, the other day, Barbara Streisand, she apologized for it, but she came out and she said, Michael Jackson wasn't so bad. His sexual needs were sexual needs, and these little children he was abusing, they wanted it so bad. They had a great time, and it didn't really affect them that much. Here's a woman who's been talking to us about politics all these years, and that's who she is. If those words come out of your mouth, it's time to clam up. You should have clammed up 40 years ago because you have not got the moral compass. Wonderful voice. She's got a wonderful voice. She has not got the moral compass that's required to understand where the country should go politically. She should have shut up and sung, and that to me is true of our elites right down the line. The James Clappers who lied before Congress, the James Comeys who leaked classified information, the John Brennans who voted for communists, all of these guys who have paraded themselves as the elites. It's time for them to go, and it's time for us to disappear from TV and stop telling us what we should do, because I would rather listen to a steel worker in Pennsylvania tell me what he needs than listen to any of these guys tell us what we need.
He is Andrew Klavan, podcaster. Another Kingdom is the podcast. He's on season 2. Also the screenwriter for Gosnell, The Trial of America's Biggest Serial Killer. If you haven't seen that, you got to go to Amazon and download that and see it. Andrew Klavan, thanks so much for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Not sure where to go for wealth management advice and direction? It can be tough to find the right financial planner. Whether you're close to retirement or a millennial, you need to think about your financial future now. Sam Macaluso and Associates are ready to help you with your tax strategies, wealth management, and retirement planning. From college planning as well as business succession plans and tax strategies that deal with the new Tax Act, you'll get reliable and individualized service to address your challenges. As an accounting firm, Sam and his team's main goal is to help you preserve the wealth you've already built with efficient solutions to your accounting and financial planning. From tax preparation to planning and setting up accounts for retirement, the team will always take you through the entire process and help you make well-informed decisions. Schedule an appointment today with Sam Macaluso and Associates in Countryside to prepare for the April tax deadlines. Go to sammacalusoandassociates.com. That's sammacalusoandassociates.com. Don't wait. Start planning today.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
I've probably been on it 2 years now, and it's been, honestly, a godsend. After you're on it for a while, you tend to forget the aches and pains and things that was going on in your body and your life before you started taking Balance of Nature. I get up, I go up and down the stairs, no pain. Hey, you know what? Thank goodness for Balance of Nature.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself by using discount code CHICAGO. The price of fruits and vegetables is going up. Call now to see how you can lock in your price of fruits and vegetables for an entire year and get free shipping on every order. Call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is going to be here soon, and it's the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Attention maintenance coordinators. Fans are a vital part of your business's building or factory. You've got to keep the air moving. But when they break down or need service, who can you call? Vans Industrial repair all types of fans, from small wall fans to large air movers.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Fan repair is one of many services that Vans offers. If you have a fan with a damaged shaft, bearing, impeller, or housing, we can help. And if you need a new fan, we handle all major brands and can provide engineering assistance to properly size your new fan. Our crews can respond to your emergencies or routine maintenance and will have your fan back up and running fast. And when we're done repairing your fan, we can also dynamically balance it so it runs smooth for years to come.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to get your fan repaired today. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Varicose and spider veins. Wow, what a gift from my mom. She had them, I got them, and not only are they uncomfortable and sometimes painful, but I stopped wearing skirts and shorts because I was embarrassed and I really hated the way my legs looked. When my kids asked me, "What are those things on your legs?" I was done. I finally went to Vein Clinics of America. The procedure took about an hour and I was right back to work. What they're doing with lasers these days is unbelievable. The staff made me feel so comfortable, and the results, well, even my husband has noticed. Vein Clinics of America has been treating vein disease for over 35 years. They're the largest and most experienced in the U.S. Look, I've been doing the commercials for Vein Clinics for years because I really believe in them, and you can trust them too. The best part, my insurance covered the procedure, so stop hiding your legs. Call Vein Clinics of America now to see if you qualify for a free consultation. Call 800-375-8900, 800-375-8900. That's 800-375-8900.
Jim was a 48-year-old husband, father, and business owner. He understood the importance of life insurance to protect his family and business. Jim knew what happened with no life insurance. His own father died, leaving a wife and children with no financial resources. Jim vowed to have enough coverage. He purchased a life insurance policy from NCSF. When Jim lost his life in a tragic car accident, his family grieved, but Jim had planned, and his family and business were financially secure because of life insurance through NCSF. NCSF is a not-for-profit company that provides life insurance and member benefits that commercial carriers do not. Jim was secure in knowing he would provide his family with financial security. He also chose NCSF because of their commitment to give back to communities through philanthropic work. For Jim, NCSF membership was a great fit. Protecting your life matters to NCSF, and it should matter to you. Life insurance can make the road ahead easier for those you leave behind. Visit ncsf.com to learn about their life and annuity products and member benefits. Visit ncsf.com today.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, maybe this will come to Chicago. I mean, if it can play in Toledo.
Oh, that's right.
Local newscasts in Toledo trying to hep up their game.
WTOL are their call letters, okay? And they're trying to be hip and cool. Tell them. This is. I thought you were joking when you played this for me.
Not The Onion. Actual network affiliate newscasts in Toledo where they're trying to appeal to the kids out there that aren't watching appointment television or to any television by using teen slang. Brace yourselves.
Good morning, TPS students. It is testing week, and it's time to slay all day.
Yeet. Stay woke, be on fleek, and get that Gucci breakfast.
Goals! Say bye, Felicia, to that testing stress. Weather's going to be turned, right, Chris?
Yes! Toledo weather going to be lit during testing week. A hundo P chance of success. You've got this, kids. Steve, how about that traffic? Are we looking
better than we're talking turn. FOMO won't be an issue. No traffic problems around any TPS schools to keep you from taking those tests.
The best comment I saw in response to this on Twitter was, "I want to die."
60 degrees today, actually 50 right now at O'Hare. It is 9 a.m. and time for Fox News.
Schiff should step down. I'm Chris